Yeah.
My girlfriend is afraid of ghosts and demons. And I've told Woody and Kyle this before, but we were watching. I love watching horror movies, and so we were watching The Conjuring, I think we were watching The Conjuring, and that's like have you seen that? Arian?
No, I don't watch
good horror movie, man.
Okay, it's a horror movie, and it's about like ghosts and demons and stuff. And I don't believe in that stuff, so I'm not really afraid of it. I'm more afraid of like serial killers, or like someone who will kidnap you and torture you, or something
Eat
horrible,
my butthole,
or eat my dirty homeless ass, that kind of thing. We were watching
dirty homeless ass.
We were watching The Conjuring. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I got to do it, but
gotta do it, man.
we were watching The Conjuring, and she was terrified. Like you could see the bathroom from where we were sitting, and she's like, "I gotta go pee." As I'm like, I paused it. I'm like, "All right, go pee." She's like, "Will you walk me to the bathroom?" Like I can see it right there, but I still got up and walked to the bathroom, and she went and came back, and she's like, "This is just so scary." Like I'm like, "Babe, none of this is real. Like demons are make believe. It's fine." She's like, "No, they're not. They are real. They're real." And I was like, "No, they're not. Watch this. Satan, come into my heart. I am an open vessel. Use me as you will." and said shit like that. And she was like slapping me at my shoulder, like, "Stop it! Stop inviting Satan into your heart." And I'm like, "Oh, Lord of Darkness, come inside. Seize my body. Make me your will." And I was doing shit like that. And she was not enthused. It scared the shit out of her.
That's when you needed like half an Alka-Seltzer to pop in your mouth, and then just like fucking seize up, hit the floor, go into a seizure, and start foaming at the mouth, and then just pop up and just look around like all creepy and walk out of the house.
Ask her what happened.
Or just be like say I was joking, and like 5 minutes later, just in the middle of the movie, be like, that kind of shit. Yeah, that made me laugh so fucking hard.
Where's the knife drawer? What?
Do you want to know how Satan got into my heart? I invited him.
Clowns
do scare me. I'll be honest. I'm trying not to look at your part of the screen. It's a little upsetting.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. I agree. It's a happy clown. But
yeah, at least it's happy.
But the thing about clowns is that they're always happy until they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at first they're always quick, and then it's just pulling your intestines out with a spit, cranking it while they get slowly drawn out of you. Click, 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 click.
Sounds like that movie, The Terrifier, which I haven't seen but am familiar with.
I haven't seen it. I watched the first 5 minutes. I watched 5 minutes of The Terrifier and just like,
oh, you haven't seen The Terrifier?
Terrifier and Terrifier 2.
That's what I
Hallows Eve or whatever the first one is. The little prequel.
Short film, I think.
Yeah. This what's crazy about this is that Art the Clown, that guy, is I didn't think my whole life that I would get another like iconic horror person. Like, and when I say iconic, like obviously you have like the S tier OGs, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason, but then like, you know, Ghostface, and like, you know, there's been some others that are like in the mid area,
Hellraiser.
you know, like for me, like Leatherface, exactly, Jigsaw, and like that was like almost 2 decades ago, and then horror did something else. But to get like an iconic horror persona, I will tell you, I have never seen someone climb the ranks so quickly in my books of a horror guy like this guy. He's got I just gotta tell you, like, it's the funniest thing is it's grounded in reality, kind of like what happens, but also not, but like grounded in reality. And that, like, I've seen in times, like, and this is his shtick, just like Freddy might have a catchphrase, is like, he's got things that you like, he's got rules like everyone does. Sometimes like I've seen him get bested and he'll pull out a gun and just shoot them. It's like the whole hunting and getting hit and running and hiding, and then it's like as soon as he loses the upper hand, he literally has a gun on him and pulls it out and like.
So is it a film series you'd recommend? I'm a longtime horror fan. I have sub to Shudder, watch all that fucked up stuff, but it seemed like a little mean spirited. It didn't seem like it would be funny. It just seemed like if I watched The Terrifier, it would give me depression. Gore for the sake of gore, cruelty for the sake of cruelty, and nothing else. Kind of reminds me of maybe like a live action version version of a Guro manga or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of what the movie is like.
It's like what I look at it is it reminds me of those times, like those movies like 2004, like going to rent a movie at Blockbuster and you go home and you're like, I understand why this isn't the biggest thing, but like, damn, we got a little gem over here. So like, for me, what was like, is it mean for the sake of being? A lot of them are like questions that like I wouldn't be able to give an answer outside of my opinion, but I could tell you what attracted me to it was there are these moments where like the two girls are, it's very at the beginning, two girls are sitting with him at the pizza place and he's just there and you're getting the guy, but he's like under a bright light and like people are around and he's like right there, like 5 feet away, and they don't realize how dangerous this guy is yet, and the movie hasn't shown us, but you just know because we're watching a horror movie. And the tension in that moment is just so well done that like things are happening and you're like, oh my God, don't do that. You're like look at this person. Why are you touching him? Like there's just things there.
They're like, look at the clown.
They're doing shit like that. Like one girl and her friend is like,
that.
don't. But like the tension in that scene, like for example, like set the tone for me moving forward. And because the guy who plays Art the Clown just kills it. He just like Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger, like he's just spooky. This guy, and yeah,
I didn't like how
they do that trope you're talking about.
There is just about to ask about
gore for the sake of gore.
The girls like the people.
There is a lot of
way over the top,
and he's like it's Kyle. He's not like a clown that's like doing a fake like smile in public. They're like, look at this scary clown, or look at this silly clown, and it's like he has like blood actively on him.
He has like dirty teeth.
Like
he's like dirty
blood-stained teeth. Like he clearly just was eating something.
While her friend's like, Bob, he's like staring. Like he's really just like for the girl. If you imagine her, like that's just like a creepy ass fucking guy in a scary costume, sitting over there, but he's like staring at her.
But no one would fuck with that guy. It's like
no.
It literally feels like imagine if you saw like a chained up pit bull with foam on its mouth, and it's 8 inches away from you, and it's
but he did something
scary.
I mean, realistically, would you fight a clown? You're in public, and let's say you run into me, and I'm looking very angry. Would you say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to fight a clown here in the 7-Eleven. That's going to go well.
They do. He covers his base. He covers his base a little bit. The girl that does it, she has her phone out. And she's taking pictures, like content of it. So once you add that factor, I said this to you before, like things like over the last few years, I used to see dumb shit in movies and I'd be like, no one would ever fucking do that. Now I know humans enough to be like, oh, there are people that will absolutely do that.
Yep.
There are people that will do it. There are girls, guys that'll take their phone out and want to film next to them and do some dumb shit. And like I have seen people, you said I used an animal as an example. I've literally seen some woman holding a baby bear for a picture, and then the bear's just like face claw
on her face.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, why'd you hold the fucking bear? Why'd you hold the bear?
It is
you could fuck a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, by the way.
Yes, you can. And you could fuck someone as a bear. I watched a movie on Shudder the other night. It was late night. I couldn't sleep. And I started this thing at like 2 a.m. And it's called Vampire, Vampir. And it's about a Brit who has been hired to babysit a graveyard because vandals are vandalizing it in, I can't remember the country. Let's call it, it's somewhere Eastern European.
Lithuania.
Like Transylvania.
Slovakia or something. Anyway,
the 1990s one or the 1932 one?
It would have been. It's newer for sure.
He probably be watching a lot of movies.
But he tells them
now the clown costumes look a little autistic.
Yeah.
So the deal is he's it's a vampire movie. Obviously, he's there, but he's in Hungary. He doesn't speak the language. That's the point. So it's this really interesting thing, even in modern times, where he's alienated immediately in the village. So that kind of covers alienated. So, he's an outsider. He doesn't even speak the language. The old ladies will come up to him. They'll come up to him and they try to talk to him in Hungarian or whatever the fuck. And he's like, I don't speak I don't speak Hungarian, only English. And then they're like, oh, well, come with us. And they're all smiling and laughing. And he's like, oh, you want me to have dinner with you? I understand that. And they sort of mime it. And then he's like, wait, but you're not having any? You're not, he's the only one getting served at this dinner table.
Oh.
And they're all looking at him, like watching him, like, what? Yeah, eat this now. Now eat this. And he's like, oh, I guess this is like
some Hansel and Gretel, man.
I guess this is like what you eat here. This is traditional Hungarian weird stuff that you, okay. You're not having any. You're not having any. And then he finally gets really weirded out and he stands up suddenly and they all stand up suddenly and start coming after him. And he just gets out of there. And you're like, okay, that was so weird. That was so weird, but nothing bad has happened. And then he starts having these nightmares where he cannot move in bed and awful things are happening to him that he feels. He feels the pain and he wakes up the next day crying because of what happened last night in his dream-esque thing. Like this old lady's sitting on top of him, like mounted him, and not sexually. Ew. And she's got like a stick that she's wedged into his mouth. And she's
it's like sleep paralysis.
Yeah, she's pushing his face into the pillow with a stick, into his, like sideways with both of her hands, pushing it down. And she's singing some crazy shit, smiling down at him. And she bites her lip hard as fuck and starts drooling blood into his mouth. And he's like, and she's going, Hungarian nonsense, boo 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 boo.
It's an Adam
dribbling
Sandler
the
movie.
shit into his mouth. Yeah.
I was in the moment, and then it just became Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler
At the end.
Oh,
You see Drag Me to Hell?
He played dual roles.
I have seen Drag Me to Hell. Yeah.
I love that movie, and I like the cut that has like the cartoony. There's like 2 cartoony moments, like literally Looney Tunes. Like someone's eyes pop out of their skull like a cartoon. I like that version of it. The one where she goes to see the dead body and it tumbles out of the coffin and it's only falling on her, but it looks like it's attacking her and it's like hilarious physical comedy. Have you guys seen Lake Mungo?
Lake Mungo? No.
Okay, I have not.
Spooky.
I have not. And I saw the trailer and I was like, someone recommended. I was like, you only get one. Just give me one. And they were like, Lake Mungo.
Yep, it's a really good slow burn. It's not high pitched. There's no high octane. There's no jump scares. It unfolds in a really believable way, but it's not particularly scary until that really it starts getting a little bit weirder near the end because you're kind of like doing a detective story about this missing girl and it just gets weirder and weirder. I thought it was great. If I remember correctly, a lot of the police and medical people and blah, 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 they interviewed in the movie as part of like the detective work were real actual professionals, working professionals in New Zealand, like police and stuff. So they're not professional actors and they don't speak like professional actors. So they're incredibly believable.
That's interesting. I might look into that.
You guys see Skinamarink?
Yes, that's a whole different animal right
like
there.
That one? I like that one a lot, but I don't recommend it to people.
Exactly. About 5% of people are going to love that, and about 95% of people are going to say, "Are you stupid? Nothing happened in the whole movie."
And it's really important.
That's terrible.
It's really important to watch that movie alone with the lights off. Headset. Not on your phone. And I know everyone says that all the time. And even better than a headset is if you can go to your parents' home, if they're still living in your childhood home and you could do that at night in the basement, lights out there, like that'll fuck you up. You have to find something from your, like if you were born like anywhere from like 1977 to 1992, you have to find your childhood home or something like it and go into the darkest place to watch it. And you can watch it like, I think anyway, I mean, obviously headphones, it's like almost cheating at that point, but like anyway, even like on an old shitty TV would be crazy. And it's just bizarre. It just feels like scary nostalgia. Like when you were younger,
I'll try that out.
You looked in the hallway and the hallway was darker than dark. And you just didn't know what you were hearing. It was just like conversations in the other room. There's no other room. Yeah. What are you hearing? It's really crazy. But I don't want to recommend it after everything I just said. If you don't like it in the first 15 minutes, you could probably stop.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Have you seen Barbarian?
Love it.
Not yet.
Yes.
My wife has. She loves it. So
Love it.
Great, man.
It's
That was
really
such a
good.
fun. I don't watch trailers anymore at all. And if I do, I'll very quickly I'll only watch a trailer of a movie that I have no intentions of watching. And if they change my mind, I'll immediately turn it off because I know that if I go 3/4 of the way into this trailer, they're going to the act. They're going to the third act of the movie. They're showing me the part where the
You
hero
literally
has
get
to rescue
the end
a
of
girl.
Act 1, and you're always blessed with a shot of the final scene. And I always watch trailers, and I'm always like, "That's the end of the movie right there."
Yep.
Yeah.
I know the end of a movie when I see what you've shown me. I'm like, "That's the end right there." It's like every trailer does it.
I wish they did it like Dusk Till Dawn. Did anybody see that in theaters? Because they didn't
No.
advertise any of the vampires at all. It was, and the first hour of the movie is played as a straight up kidnap.
I got it that way.
Tarantino cops and robbers,
Yeah.
and then out of fucking nowhere, vampires and schlocky ones, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
But I'm right there with you on not watching trailers.
Terminator 2, James Cameron saw the trailer for Terminator 2 when the Terminator was like,
He's
"Come
never
with me
seen
if you want to
Terminator
live."
2.
That's
what
what
happened.
Or
happened.
one.
Oh, I would say if you have to ask me, I'd put that number 1 at your the top of your list. You don't even need to watch Terminator 1. Actually, Terminator
cassette.
2. I know it's crazy how it really doesn't even matter. The more there's already a ton of mystery in that world building. That the more mystery you're left with is just fine because there's a ton anyways. It's not like it's gonna really fill you in on things, but it's also fun to watch after. But Terminator 2 is my number 1 favorite movie. It's the first movie I ever saw in theaters. I feel like I do what I do today because I saw Terminator 2 like at 5 years old in theaters.
Yep.
I'm like jealous because like at any moment, if you're like, what should I watch? You could watch my all-time favorite movie. You've never seen it before. And not only that, it's just for on so many reasons to be 2023 and not seeing this movie. There's no part of it that you're gonna be like, this feels outdated. Not a moment. There's
Really?
no moment
even
in
the
the
CGI
whole
is
movie.
super good.
Exactly.
Maybe the
There's not a
arcade
whole. There's like that's like, but it's gonna feel like Stranger Things, kind of like Stranger Things doesn't feel like outdated. It's like it's just gonna feel like now. There's no effect in it or decision or clothing. Everything is. It's the craziest movie.
Yeah. I watched
that whenever.
I watched Terminator 1 and 2 this month, last month, something like that. I went through them again and watched them both. I love those movies. That was one of my favorites as a kid to watch with my grandmother, Terminator 2. She's a huge Arnold fan. I'm a huge Arnold fan. That movie made me like now. After that, I followed Robert Patrick's career when I saw him in Sopranos playing the gambling addict. I was like, oh, that's bad. It's a Terminator. This is cool. But that scene at the end, I cried. Like Terminator 2 made me cry. A couple times I've watched it and cried.
Is that rated R or PG-13?
Yes, it's R.
That's what I thought.
Arnold does his best acting of his career, I think, maybe in that movie. Seems like I think he's trying as hard as he can
to be a robot, and he does it very convincingly. And this actually loops back to what we talked about in the very beginning. You talked about the Toxic Crusaders TV show based on an R-rated movie. From that era, you had Aliens, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop, Rambo, all these fucked up, hyper violent, R-rated movies. Like you go back and watch RoboCop.
This is the Toys R Us aisle. In 1992.
All R-rated.
And what's so
movies
funny
all
about
the way
our
down.
generation is like that's the toy aisle now.
Yeah,
like really? We're like not like at a Toys R Us, but like you can go to like EB Games or something like a GameStop, and that's what you get is you're gonna get like Alien, Terminator, RoboCop, and all those toys were sick. I love that. Alien, you got like the Gorilla Alien. And I remember like it was my first time when I realized I was woke cuck. I was able to choose any toy and I came home with Ripley from Alien 3. I got
there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
Ripley's
at all.
One of the best all-time female action heroes ever.
And I got like I was in my first like argument debate like ever when I hung out with my friends and I brought a Ripley toy because I brought a bitch to boys' night. And it was like I'm like Michael, your parents don't even let you watch Alien 3. You don't know what this bitch does, bro. Like you don't even know what a power loader is. You have no idea. She called the Queen Alien a bitch. You don't know shit, Michael. fuck you, fuck the Ghostbusters.
Fuck
And
Michael.
and I'm literally like, but I remember like and obviously I didn't word it that way, but I remember being like, but you don't know anything. Because I was allowed to watch all these movies. I had like pay-per-view, so I was like,
oh yeah,
I love anything with killing. If I got something and someone's getting killed, there's blood, I'm like, hold up.
Hey, I bet you're a fan of squibs. Don't you wish they still had squibs instead of CGI gunshots? Like you go back and you watch Total Recall and they shoot people and like 3 gallons of blood.
Criterion Collection, any Criterion Collection, like RoboCop, like
what's the Criterion?
All the Paul Verhoeven stuff.
It's like their special, the best version, director's version of select like cult movies.
Oh, okay.
Like RoboCop, you get RoboCop, and there's like crazy squib scenes, like with the blood's going like that. I bought that for a video once, and like they didn't work, and I just remember like we bought it, and the guy rigged it up and like did it, and they didn't work really. Only some of them did. And he was like, "Sorry," and I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay," and I was like, "Here's your money." I was like, "Here's your money." I literally like, I'm just
though, right?
There's what's that?
Aren't they kind of dangerous? Like squibs are little explosives going off, right?
I have no idea how they worked. So when they didn't work, and he was like, "I can't do anything about it," I was like, "Okay." No. I still paid him though, and I was like, "Did I lose just now?"
Yeah. Did I get scammed? Did he know?
More or less than 1,000.
Wait, more than $1,000?
Yeah, I was asking how much it cost, like a squib.
Oh yeah, no, less than 1,000 actually.
Oh, that's surprisingly cheap.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe that's why they didn't go off.
One. Yeah,
well, Harley, I'm glad to hear that you're a man of fine taste and have watched all the best movies.
Yes. Well, we're all men of
everybody
fine
except
taste.
Taylor.
Well, you know.
I
just have a full catalog of stuff. You guys are jealous because you can't watch.
Between us four white men, we've seen every single movie worth seeing.
Yes,
have you guys seen The Notebook?
100%. I had to watch that with my high school girlfriend.
No, I refuse to watch.
It's a good movie.
Oh, what movie?
It's really ugly about The Notebook.
I didn't hear it. What movie?
The Notebook.
The Notebook.
Oh,
the Notebook is when the Notebook ends. Like, I promise you, even if you don't say it out loud or if the core, like inside, you're like, okay.
Oh, I bet I'd like it. I bet it made me cry though. I'm a pussy about stuff like that. If there's a fucking emotional scene or something, I'll be tearing up and crying the whole way through.
I hate when a movie's like the boy in the striped pajamas, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do today. The boy,
cry.
Fuck, look at the cover. Like I'm sick already in my stomach. Like I'm trying to watch a movie and chill. It's my day off. I'm fucking get attached to a Holocaust baby and
when I watch
play it through.
You know, I never realized that was the whole premise of Freddy Krueger until I watched the remakes. I didn't realize Freddy Krueger was actually a child molesting man with blades on his hands. That's even worse.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. That does make it worse.
Yeah. The whole background story was that Freddy was like molesting all these kids down in his fucking basement and like playing with his claw hand and scratching the kids and shit. And all the parents got together one night, beat him up, chased him into an abandoned factory, and then burned the place fucking down. That's why he's all scarred.
But when he had superpowers, he didn't really rape the kids anymore.
That's right. You know, that
would have been a worse movie.
Did those teenagers get too old for him? Is that what it was? Like, these kids are like 16 now. Forget it.
Well, I don't know. There was always a lot of sexual innuendo, like when the hand comes out of the bubble bath in the first or second one. I don't remember. They're always pulling people into bed and blood shooting everywhere. There's a lot of innuendo there. He's always talking about raping somebody, but I'd say his dick's burn off. I mean, you see his face.
Mm-hmm. I agree on that.
Yeah.
Does he have powers? He can just invade dreams, right? I think I've only watched maybe one and a half in the whole series.
Yeah, he invades your dreams because of your fear for him, and if you go to sleep, then he can kill you. And the only way to kill him is for you to grab him, and then somebody wakes you up at the same time, and you pull him out of the dream into the real world. But then he's still like a super strong burn victim with like a claw hand, so you got to be careful. And, you know, you got to be waiting there. Now, I feel like I'd be good at taking Freddy Krueger out because the person that's there to wake the guy up is never effective at their job. They're always the worst. They're the person who has also been up for 3 days straight. Why don't they come wake somebody up, be like, hey, Bill, have a few cups of coffee, come on over here, bring your 12 gauge. And Bill could just be waiting there for Freddy Krueger to pop out of nowhere, and you could blow him away.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, Kyle, if you had 3 people, this system, you could have a constant shift, and you could solve this problem forever. You can't add the third person, or he's powerless.
That's
just 8-hour shifts of sleeping.
That's why it takes a very special category of scary movie to actually scare me. It has to be something that I can't solve with the application of a 12-gauge shotgun and 2 or 3 more people. Because I have access to all those things. And most scary movies you can fix with 2 or 3 people and a 12-gauge shotgun.
Yeah. The new Pet Sematary, and I mean it's not good, but my memory of it was like being horrified when I was like probably 8 or 9 watching the original one, and like having trouble going to bed that night after seeing that kid get clobbered by the semi.
Oh,
like
brutal.
It's because like that. I think that was probably the first movie in my life where a child died like that.
Yeah.
Like my little like heuristic 8-year-old mind is like, oh no, child safe. And then not only is the child not safe, then the child comes back as an absolute ghoul who wants to murder and kill, and then you quickly lose empathy for the child because
I don't need children to be safe. I'm fine with killing children. I liked Hunger Games as much as the next guy, but the dogs should be safe. I don't like to see them die.
Yeah,
little Gage, the little kid Gage from Pet Sematary, and he was in Kindergarten Cop. So it's like you see him as this horrific little kid cutting people's Achilles tendons on their ankle, and then he's just an adorable little kid in Kindergarten Cop. So yeah.
I remember taking like
took the out of it.
I remember taking like unrealistically big swoops with my legs to get off the bed for like a few days after having seen that because of the just
that was
right
a terrible scene.
It was.
Yeah, there are some scenes that just like oh shit, that one will stick with you.
Mm-hmm. The new It, that wasn't very good. It didn't impress me. The old It is better, and the old It also isn't a very good movie.
It's awful. You mean like the TV miniseries?
There isn't two. I haven't seen it though.
Well, you know, it's all the same story, right?
I know. I'm saying, but they split it into 2. I stopped after the first one.
Yeah, I read the book in prison. It was really, really weird because you get to that underage orgy.
God, yeah.
More of a train that they run, really. And that comes out of nowhere.
It doesn't have anything to do with the plot. Like if you
really
found
only
out
want to read that part of the book. It's the only part I'm curious about.
I mean, it's only like 2 pages.
I'll have to Google it.
Yeah,
but who was the editor
King's
for
a
that?
Weirdo.
He is a weirdo. Like
He's
that
a
book
weird
is
fuck.
that book is 1,200 pages long, and the editor wasn't like, Steven, can we lose the child sex scene? It doesn't have anything to do with the no. We like if something creepy came out about Stephen King in real life, no one would be surprised.
fucker good.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
No one would be shocked if something creepy came out about Stephen King. Like the groundwork is set. There's like a lot of his books have just needless, really weird, gross sex stuff. But then again, so does this show.
So bad. His movies are so fucking bad that he has anything to do with. If people just buy like the script or buy the book and then have a screenwriter take care of it, like Shawshank is a brilliant movie.
Yeah.
Not many people even know that's Stephen King. But when he does something and he's involved and he thinks he's going to do his Hitchcock cameo in there and everything, it's so embarrassing, everything he's done that he's involved with.
Was he involved with The Shining at all, or is that why The Shining's so good?
He's not involved.
No, not at all. Except for the one he remade because he hated the one Kubrick did. So he was going to do a better job.
He hated the one Kubrick did?
Of course he did.
Yeah.
The one Kubrick did is meant to be a slap in the face to King.
Yeah.
Well, it's. I just thought it was a great movie.
And he's like, Jack Nicholson, Stanley Kubrick, fuck that. I'm getting the guy from Wings. And,
and it was like one of the women from like Full House or something. I don't remember like what the rest of the casting was, but it was like this made for TV casting.
Wasn't she the girl from Risky Business, the blonde prostitute girl?
It could have been. I've only seen it once. That's the one where instead of an axe, they use a croquet mallet, right?
Yeah, and the hotel isn't like the friggin' Overlook Hotel in Kubrick's movie was amazingly scary. This one's like, what is this, a Motel 6? Like it's all done on the budge, on the cheap, and it looked every bit of it.
You mentioned Risky really Business. I wonder if Tom Cruise would have even been a star if he refused to do the underwear dance. Because that movie, like that was the best part of the movie, right? It was the
Put him over.
Thing. The parents leave the house and this is his misbehaving.
I've never seen that.
He might have never become Tom Cruise if he didn't do the underwear dance.
It did put him over. Yeah,
Not in
that
your
movie
eyes.
was like huge. And Scientology, of course, put him over.
Yeah, I like that he does his own stunts.
Yeah.
I've been looking for good horror lately. I watched a horror movie last night on Shudder called Sea Fever.
I'm a horror fanatic. You know what's so funny? I've seen that.
You've seen Sea Fever, man. All right, so I would. It's definitely. It's definitely a B movie based, like budget wise. But I would say a B plus budget. There's no parts that look so bad that you laugh at. It's certainly not like Sharknado or some. It's not goofy. It's taken seriously. Essentially, there's a fishing vessel with a lot of people on it, including some sort of student scientist who's there to do some like accompanying research maybe on the ocean. She's tagging along. They've let her go. And it looks like a whole Scandinavian crew and Scandinavian actors who you'll recognize if you've seen a lot of stuff, Vikings and shit like that. You're like, I've seen you before. And basically the captain wants to make a little extra money. So he goes into a exclusion zone, a place where you're not allowed to fish. And they even remark, hey, there's whales here. They usually stay out of the fishing lanes. They hate the boats. And it's like, yeah, we're not in the fishing lanes anymore. We've gone to where boats don't usually go at all. We're out here where we're not supposed to be. And they run into a enormous creature that mistakes them for a dead whale, their boat for a dead whale that it would feed on and put its little baby tadpoles in. And so their boat becomes infected by little baby tadpoles. And then the people get infected by little baby tadpoles. And where this guy's, I don't want to spoil what happens, but there's an explosive reaction that is real gruesome that happens because someone had little baby tadpoles in them. And it's how we find out that there are, in fact, little baby tadpoles on the ship. They're like, oh, there they are. Fuck. And it gets increasingly darker and darker. Yeah. And it doesn't have a happy ending. I don't mind like giving that much away because again, it's like a B plus horror movie that's like, I like a not happy
ending in a horror movie from time to time. It keeps you guessing.
I am a horror movie fanatic, so if you ever need a good suggestion, I could tell you.
Love it.
Yes,
please.
There's this one movie that's probably my top 5 of all time horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Spanish movie called Terrified, where it's almost like a neighborhood that's haunted. Google that shit, excuse my language, and watch that. It will mess you up. Amazing movie.
I'll watch that. I love not Terrified. Terrified.
2017 film.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to watch it.
Has good ratings.
You will love it.
I'll check that out. I'm always like, what's another good one? I'm always looking for new horror. I like horror.
Midsummer is a good one.
Enjoyed that.
I thought that was
it was my
that's a horror.
That's Ari Aster, right?
Oh.
The director.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's my least favorite of his movies, but
I know people who think it. I know people who think it's like one of the best of all time, and people who don't like it. It's one of those movies.
Hereditary blew me away.
Hereditary was amazing.
I had to watch it twice to enjoy it and appreciate it. I disliked it the first time. I maybe came on. I maybe even came on here and shat on it, and I really got caught up on that little girl. And look, I know that's how she looks. Her face is a bit unfortunate to look at.
Yeah,
and it was off-putting to me. And she kept doing those little like ticks, that clicking tick she does, and that was really off-putting to me for some reason too. And every now and then I watch something and I'm queasy, like unrelated to that. I'm like sick to my stomach. I have this hatred of SpongeBob SquarePants because I was hungover the first time I ever like saw an episode. I was like fucking sour stomach, hungover, nasty, feeling like shit. And so it's
and you're like hearing like nah, like just loud ass.
Lives in a pineapple under the sea, and I'm like, I need a ride home,
Patrick, and you're like,
that's hilarious.
Ruined it for me. What was I talking about before SpongeBob?
Midsummer. You were talking about that
or Hereditary.
Face.
The second time I watched it though, and I started appreciating the little intricacies of it. The hidden details, the symbolism. Exactly. I missed huge plot points the first time I watched it, and I usually think I'm good at that, but I was like, holy shit. She was there though. This character was watching way earlier than she's introduced. There she is in the background, or oh, this happened here and there, and oh shit, what's that in the fucking shadows? There's lots of that. And the last 10-20 minutes of that movie are a shit show roller coaster goat fuck. It
Yeah.
goes
Mhm.
wild. The
They
only
go
thing
off
that
the
I can
thread.
compare it to, as far as I like that when you come out of nowhere and hit the audience in the fucking teeth when they've just been taking body blows all night. It's
Yep.
like, whoa, wasn't ready for this. It's
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk. You seen
Yeah.
that shit?
I've seen that one.
Woo! When the thing that happens fucking happens in Bone Tomahawk, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, we're not watching a Western anymore.
Yeah.
We went straight to cannibal horror film. Holy shit. I've never
They go from
intentionally
that
watched anything
normal-
that gory before.
They go from like a normal Western, like it's a little quiet out here on
Not
the
just normal, but good one.
frontier, and then good slow burn, good acting. I was enjoying it, and then in like maybe 25 seconds, it goes from that to absolute brutality,
Like-
and then it gets
like-
worse and worse and worse
Like,
until
hear
they're
me
in the
out here,
cages.
Hear me out here. Wouldn't you watch a whole TV series about that cast just doing normal cowboy shit without cannibals? Like, some rustlers came and took Bill's herd. Come on, Roscoe, let's go get. And that group of guys just rides off and deals with some rustlers. And
I would need
gets
a
back-
little cannibalism.
They, lots of eating beans and
I'm with Taylor.
campfires. You need the cannibalism. All right,
there would need
well,
there would need to be hints of it, and there'd be like,
well,
there's
fuck me then,
human
right?
shaped mouths eating our steer. Something like that.
Bone Tomahawk's hardcore.
Little
Yeah,
death whistle here.
Guess
I
it's not
love
a
that
cannibal
one.
anymore. It's eating our steers.
I love the old
A lot of the
Yeah.
best horror movies are foreign movies. Like if you get out of American productions that tone their stuff down, like Hereditary is like a rare example, but
Mhm.
there's like what's the zombie Train to Busan?
Very
Yeah.
good. Very
Have
good.
you seen that one?
Of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love Korean
Yeah.
stuff.
That was a cool one. Like there's
They're the
when
cool
you get out
Asians.
of the States, like there's some really messed up ones that will screw with your head.
Yeah. There's a bunch of good like Asian horror, whether it's like Korean or Thai,
Yeah.
Japanese.
Yep.
Like there's a ton of those out there. And
What's your
they're
favorite
usually
vampire
better.
movie?
Mine?
Fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ooh. Okay. Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It's yeah,
is
with
really
with
well
Keanu and
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman and
Amazingly done.
Winona Ryder
Yeah.
and Anthony
What's
Hopkins
the Tarantino one
and
where
Carrie
it's
Ewells.
What are you talking about? Dusk Till Dawn?
yes, the one that becomes a vampire movie at the very end. I like that.
Yeah, that was
Robert
that was more,
Rodriguez movie pinned by Quentin Tarantino.
it was more hokey than scary.
Yeah, definitely not a
The
horror.
twist
like,
comes
but
out of nowhere though, which I really
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I so wish more movies would do that.
I mean,
And not
George
spoil it.
Clooney and Tarantino, like as brothers, was awesome in the first half. Like I thought that was a really cool matchup, but the way that Tarantino was screwed up.
I was
And
cool
he,
with all
like-
that. I'd have watched that whole
really
movie
cool.
without the vampires, and I'd have watched a whole other.
That could have been a movie on its own. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I liked both.
Well, yeah,
Kyle.
I've seen every vampire movie, and I think that's one of the best ones. Bram Stoker's like really did it.
I was
justice.
going to say the same thing. It's great. I highly recommend it. It's a very sexy, horny movie. Very sexy,
Yeah.
horny movie.
Yeah.
Which movie? Wait, you
Bram Stoker's Dracula. There's Dracula turns into a wolf man and fucking
Yep.
raw dogs this redhead with her titties out. Monica Bellucci and two other lesbian vampire chicks come out of the fucking bed.
How did you
fucking
remember that
serpent
name?
bitches
That's
with
amazing.
their titties? With their
Yep.
because I love Monica Bellucci and her big fucking pussy and not like I don't know, like big poofy like pussy lips. It's a real good looking pussy that she's shown a lot on film. Big titties. She's the chick who gets raped in Irreversible.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of
Now you're on board.
her. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Her and two other lesbian vampire bitches come out of Keanu's bed and
Yep.
they're like sucking his dick and biting
Like
his
from the
ball
bed.
sack
It was
and
like
shit.
really well
And
done.
Dracula's like, bitches, get the fuck away from him. He's mine. But don't worry, I got a brand new human baby infant. And he hands
Yep.
it to him, and they're just like, they like rip it apart, tear it to pieces while it screams. And Keanu's like watching all that shit go down. And then later on, you get the Wolfman raw dog and the redhead, which I mentioned. But then Lucy in general, the redhead.
I might just want to watch
smoking hot,
highlights.
Great.
just titties out
Yeah,
everywhere.
this sounds
all the
pretty
time.
fucking stupid.
Oh.
Like
This
that
Dracula.
doesn't-
It is as close
Wait.
to the original book
Book.
as any Dracula story there's ever been. It is.
And my next one was
Dracula
Interview with the
been.
Vampire.
as has ever been. And Gary
Great
Oldman tries his fucking heart out. He looks great. I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, you know, I actually changed my
You should
answer.
have gotten an Oscar for
What We
that.
Do in the Shadows is my favorite vampire movie.
That's fun.
That's a very funny movie. I like it. But
have you even seen Twilight?
I had watched that with my high school girlfriend. The first one.
Don't ruin the conversation.
I was like, that sucks. So,
but
Kyle, you had
the vampire,
question.
Brad Pitt.
Oh, I do. The question.
Speaking of movies that are fun, it made me think of a movie I watched just last night that is not fun at all. I think it's on Netflix, and I was, Destiny doesn't know. When I play Magic the Gathering Arena on my laptop late at night and I'm relaxing, I like to have something in the background. Usually it's Family Guy, King of the Hill, old Simpsons episodes, but I also, my favorite genre of film, I like campy, shitty horror movies. I just really enjoy them. Okay. And so I was like, I haven't watched horror in the background while I'm playing Magic in a long time. And so I kind of scrolled, and something suggested on Netflix, I think, was called The Girl Next Door from 2007. There's a 2004 movie that's very tame called The Girl Next Door, but this one was 2007 movie, and I'm like, I have never seen this before, and I imagined it would be on the tier of horror as A Stranger Calls or When a Stranger Calls, where it's like you get some spooky, you get a little thrill, but it's not gory, not vicious, nothing too bad. And I was like, that's going to be my background movie. And so I'm started playing Magic, and the background of this tale is it's two girls. One's 18 and one is 13 that has polio. It's set in the 50s. So she's got those leg rickety things set up, and their parents die. And so they have to go live with their cruel, insidious aunt. And her aunt, she has four young boys, all like under 14. So those two girls come to live with them. And immediately, the first half hour of the movie is demonstrating how much of a bad parent and bad woman this aunt is. Because the first scene is she's like offering these literally 9-year-old boys and girls beer and cigarettes and being like, would you like a beer? Would you like a cigarette? And then she just like, one of the first scenes, they're all in the kitchen. She's just talking like about her pussy, like talking about sex to children. And like her young sons are getting like horned up over it. And
time out.
So what happens?
I'm out.
Keep going.
No. I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I want to go take a piss break if this is what I think. I believe this is based on a true story. So everything that you're describing actually happened, just so everyone knows.
In some form.
No. I've read the court transcripts. This happened, and it's worse than what you saw. It's so much worse than what you saw.
I haven't done that, but I did see awful. After I watched it, this was a real story.
I don't like this story.
It was the most upsetting thing I've ever seen on Netflix, and it was
Jesus Christ. Okay,
no, literally, and it shows how dysfunctional and ridiculous the scene is with this woman, this aunt in charge, and she's kind of like hyping her own young sons up about sex stuff, and she leaves the room, and all the boys decide they want to tickle the 18-year-old girl who's coming to live there. And she's very reserved, very uncomfortable. She doesn't know the situation. So all the boys are over there tickling, but they're really just like groping her like tits and ass and stuff. And the girl, the 18-year-old girl, shoves one of like the 8-year-old boys off who was grabbing her tits, and the boy falls. Then the aunt comes back in the room, and the boy's like, she pushed me, and the girl's like, he grabbed my breast, or he tried to feel my pussy or something. And the mom was like, he's a good boy, he would never do that unless a whore tempted him. And so and then the mom goes in the most evil fashion ever, she's like, I'm not gonna punish you, Angelica, whatever the fuck her name was. When you do something wrong, it's Susan who's going to pay for it. And so then the woman takes Susan, the polio-ridden 12-year-old, and beats the shit out of her. And so then like the girl realizes like, oh my God, I need to get out of this situation. The older girl, like my young sister's getting beaten. This is horrific. They go to a baseball game the next day, and the boys plus the mom, they kind of notice at one point, the older girl goes to talk to a police officer, and you can see through the body language, the older girl's like, and she smacked her and she's abusing her and she's giving boys cigarettes and booze and stuff. And little girls from around because it wasn't just boys. It was like 4 sons, a cousin who was a boy, and then like a couple girls and boys from the neighborhood who would hang out in there. And the night they get home, they go, we know you talked to the cops. You're going to go in the basement, and we're going to chain your hands to the ceiling, and you're going to stand there on 3 books, or we're going to kill or beat the shit out of this girl with polio. And so she goes down there, she gets chained up, And they go down there. The afterward, the polio girl's not there. The family, the four dysfunctional being fucked with boys by the mom, and the mom herself, the aunt, is like, she's a whore. I bet she fingers herself. I bet she's fucking playing with her pussy. And then the boys are like, yeah, she's a whore. And these are 8, 9, 10-year-old boys. Like, she's a whore. And I'm watching at this point, magic is by the wayside. I'm locked into this movie.
So you enjoyed the movie.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then she tells her like 11-year-old son, like, she needs to be punished. She's a whore.
Yeah, she does.
And then she's like, what do you want to do with her? And like talking to her like 12-year-old son like that. And he's like, I want to cut her clothes off.
Jesus
and he's
Christ.
like, cut her clothes off. She's a whore. She deserves it. And so he goes over there and is like cutting her clothes off, and she's like crying, and he's like talking about wanting to finger her pussy and shit. And she is, I'm not exaggerating at all about this fucking movie.
Act like this is all cool.
It's called It's called The Girl Next Door. How am I supposed to know this is what the movie is? And then they cut her naked and everything. And then the mom is like, I bet she's given blowjobs to boys before. You know what we do to girls who do that? She starts burning her with cigarettes. Just burning her with cigarettes. The girl is like screaming, crying, everything. And guess what? It amplifies from here. It gets a little more intense.
A little burn play, Taylor. I can't believe
so they literally go back upstairs. The boys come back down in the middle of the night, and the girl is like chained up, hasn't had water in 2 days. And the boys come back down. It's like a 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-old. They come down and they're like, I want to, mom's going to find out. Mom's going to find out if we touch her. And they're like, shut up. We're going to touch her anyway. And so they like start threatening her chained up, a 14-year-old or 12-year-old being like, I'm going to finger your pussy. It's going to happen. And if you say shit, she's going to know, and she'll come down here and we'll tell her you did this. And I'm watching this like, oh my God, like this is a brutal thing. The mom comes back down the next day, decides that's not intense enough. So they take her down. They tie her to a bed with her hands above her head that way. And the neighborhood girls, the neighborhood boys, and all of her sons and her watch as she like has her sons rape her in order, like raping. And like, it is beyond fucked up. And after she allows her first son to rape, she goes, you can't rape him, second son, because your brother's cum is all in there. That's ridiculous. You're going to go skinny dipping in your brother's scum? Gross. And then so she decides, well, we need to let men know that she's a whore and no one will want you ever again. And so she heats a bobby pin and writes in burns on the girl's stomach, lower stomach. It doesn't even say whore. Whore's only 5 letters. She wrote like, I am a whore. Fuck me, please. Fuck me good. Like that amount of burns in her skin.
Are you exaggerating with that?
I'm not exaggerating.
Wow. This is really upsetting.
It is. I won't go any further because I don't want to spoil that great ending. But it is bar none. I had no idea how upsetting this movie would be to watch. It's called The Girl Next Door. Does that strike you as something horrific and horrible?
I knew about it, so like as soon as
I didn't know about
describing it, I was like, "Wait, that's that thing that happened. That
have you seen it?
Happened." I would not know. No, I would not watch the movie. I know what happened, and it's much worse than what you're describing. It's
there was also the part after the writing on the stomach where the mom decided this is horrible and she's a whore, and she starts giving a little monologue in front of all the boys and neighborhood girls. She goes, there's only one little place that makes a woman want to have sex. And if you get rid of that place,
why are you
then it no longer wants to. I'm telling the fucked up story, dude. And
I feel like you're like one of those movie recap channels on YouTube where I've gotten like
what is the place? I don't understand.
The place is the clitoris, and then the woman uses the aunt uses a blowtorch to burn the woman's clitoris.
She ruined her clitoris,
and then the woman dies. She dies at the end of her wounds, almost mercifully. How bad they were to her. But I was like finishing up that movie, and the credits were rolling, and I was like, There's no world in which this is appropriately called The Girl Next Door. Like, give us a real horror story, because there's another movie called The Girl Next Door, and it's about a silly little phone call. Like, there's no reason for this, but
this ruined my evening.
It ruined your evening?
The whole night. Like hour late tonight. I'll be thinking about this again. It's so awful. It's so awful that happened.
It's one of the most, and it's not a movie that relies on the gore and stuff. It's more just the thought and the knowledge of what's going on. It's truly upsetting. And I watch a lot of horror. It is rare for me to find a horror movie where I'm like, oh no. But this one did it. So I guess hats off in that way.
But it didn't scare you. It just like disturbed you. It was just gross. Yeah. It really makes you like feel. It makes me feel worse to be a human if that's what we're like. You know what I mean? It's like
only some of us, a small percentage of.
But that's what I'm saying. Like some of us are like that. Like I'm one of those things, and one of us is like that. Like it's just it makes us all lower. It's so awful, and it's terrible. I think I saw a post on Reddit once, like one of that described like what happened, the whole thing, and I read it.
I don't want to read that.
It's real bad. It's just so awful. I don't like that story at all. That might be my least favorite story.
That I will not be rewatching.
No,
it was.
You don't want that one on Blu-ray?
I like fucked up movies and shit like that. And so part of me, like I'm watching, I'm like, this is great. This is like really fucked up. Like I like when it catches me off guard. I did not see most of that shit coming. But then you realize it's based on a true story and it's pretty horrific.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like torture porn. I don't like that stuff where people are like tied up and being cut apart.
Like Hostel. That shit was the worst about it. Hostel was like 0% scary, 100%. If we show someone's finger getting cut off in this way, maybe people will get scared.
There was a whole genre of gore porn, like Audition, Hostel, the Saw movies. Yeah. That Martyr. There's these like Italian films or French. Like, there was this whole genre where basically it was just like how much gore can you put on the screen, and like that's like scary or horrific, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, did you guys watch Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
Wait, Dawn of the Dead.
What did you think?
I liked it. I thought 28 Days Later was better.
It is.
But I was glad I watched it. I watched
the original Dawn of the Dead or the
remake from like early 2000s.
I've seen the remake. I prefer the original, but the remake's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about this actually. Like we were talking about zombies on PKN, and we were saying like not to say the original is a bad movie, but in the original the zombies aren't chasing you, right? Like in order for it to be scary and for me to feel like, oh man, if I were in that situation, I'd be fucked. It's got to be the new Dawn of the Dead or like 28 Days Later, where they're not only sprinting, but like they're magically faster than me now, as if they need magic to be faster than me. In a sprint. Some sort of wizardry.
We're not built for speed.
Everyone else in my party's 30 yards ahead. It's not be tractor beam.
Have you seen? Has anybody seen Train to Busan?
Yes.
No.
That's a really good one. And there's a guy in it that has Taylor's build, and he doesn't do running stuff. He fucking slams and suplexes the goddamn zombies, and I'm dead serious.
Boom. That's what I'll be there for. But I guarantee that guy dies.
He does.
He's really more of a one-on-one zombie attacker.
It's more of one of those guys. That always happens in zombie movies where it's like there's hundreds of yards between like the survivors and the zombies. And one guy's like, go! And it's like, no, you can come with us. We got lots of time. Get out of here. I'm not going to tell you again.
That's exactly how he dies, actually. He's like fucking bear hugging like 10 zombies. He's like, just go, man. I'm good. I got this.
One of my favorite parts in almost any zombie movie is the happy moment. You know, when they discover that they're all rich and they can drive any car they want. And in what the hell was
Zombieland?
Right? Well, they do that in that, but in what was it? Dawn of the Dead? Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's the one you just watched.
There's a point in there where like the guy becomes a cross-dresser, the woman fucks the other one. Both of them are like, I don't know, just they have some meaningless sex and they're down for it. It's fine. And I think they just realize like, oh, we own everything in this mall right now. We're temporarily happy and rich. This is great.
Imagine that in 2020, though. It's like, we're stuck in a mall. All right, there's a half-empty Hot Topic and no food court. There's a Wetzel's Pretzels, but I'm pretty sure they're out. There would be nothing. Well, you could rob a Macy's, and then hang out by a defunct penny fountain. would be the entirety of the mall. Hopefully they destroy all the malls and replace those giant areas with parks.
Dude, you know what's
actually going to happen? They're going to become Amazon distribution centers.
What if they turned those malls into like giant airsoft or paintball fields? Like
that's such a good idea.
That would be fucking amazing. Yeah, like an inside goddamn, 2 or 3 story like fucking
like
airsoft paintball.
Make the escalators, those inflatable slides they use to get out of aircraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
have
like
ropes to climb up. And
I
shit.
want them to be giant
like,
gyms, but like obstacle course marine, with walls and rope climbs and shit like that, where you just do one lap through the mall and that's your workout. It should be hard.
And someone's chasing you.
I mean, it's a whole mall, so you could have some truly epic paintball game. I haven't played paintball since the last time the 3 of us were at the paintball trip, and that was 2012, 2013. Like 7-8 years ago.
Oh, you haven't played since then. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I haven't played since then.
Yeah, we've played a couple since then. We played one at a different park in Chicago. I think that was the last group one we did. That was fun. But yeah, I haven't played in I guess about 4 years.
The last thing I watched was The Conjuring 2, which I thought was terrifying. The first Conjuring was really well made, and I thought the second one was too. For like a horror movie, like it's not cheesy or low budget. It's a high budget, well acted, well directed, well shot, scary movie. The first Conjuring is excellent, and the second one was really scary, but probably not as good of a movie.
That's the challenge with horror movies. I really enjoy a good scary horror movie, but shucks, it seems like 4 out of 5 of them are awful. If you watch a rom-com, it's going to be like average to good. It's never going to be great, and it's rarely going to be absolutely dreadful. A horror movie can just really waste your time. It can be stupid.
I like The Conjuring a lot.
It's the easiest genre to fuck up, I think.
It's a big risk reward genre, right? Because you can make these low budget movies that make $100 million. So you've got lots of people like throwing their hat into the movie making business, and they start in horror.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It seems like the amateurs flock to horror, and all they do is film at night and shake the camera a lot and hope they have a winner. And
worked for the Blair Witch Project.
They're making a new Blair Witch is coming out
really
soon. Yeah, but The Conjuring is fucking terrifying. It's demons and ghosts. That's the thing. That it's both. And it's good special effects, and they build suspense. And there's lots of jump scares, which I don't decredit a movie for jump scares. They're good jump scares. I don't know. In the second one, there's this thing where like her husband paints this picture that he saw in his dream, and it's a fucking like demon. It's a nun with like demon eyes, and it's like hanging on the wall in his office. And she goes into his office, and like hands start coming out from behind the painting and like grab the painting, and it runs at her with that as her face, and it hits her and she falls, and then you're like, oh shit, what's going on? But when she like gets up, now she's in a basement somewhere, and she's like, how'd I get in a fucking basement? It's just lots of dead bodies and glowing eyes and scary shit.
Why did he hang it up in his office? It seems odd.
He didn't know it was a demon. She was keeping that from him. It's a whole thing. He just thought it was something he dreamt of. They're good movies. I like them a lot. And it's about, so the Conjuring movies, both of them are supposedly based on Ed and Lorraine Bratton or something like that, who were like paranormal investigators in the 70s, I guess. And they investigated that Amityville killing and a few other things.
I like Paranormal, and I think the newest one I haven't seen, and it's a little bit different. Like it's not just an hour of waiting for a little payoff. I need to check out the newest Paranormal. I heard it was good.
Are you talking Paranormal Activity movies?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
So the last one I saw, I think, was the one with the it was like in LA, and they were all Latino. That one was pretty bad. That was the last one I saw.
How many are there?
Maybe
5, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They go full circle though. It's kind of cool. Like you get to the end and you see it's a big loop. They keep going. They all feed into one another.
Huh.
Yeah.
I only saw the first one of those, and it was spooky. But it definitely got you with some jumps, like in the end when spoiler for this movie that came out 12 years ago or whatever, and it just like you're looking at the door and all the shit's gone down, and it just like lunges at you and kind of like does the jump scare. It was
when he goes into the attic to like look for it, and then there's the part where it drags her down the hallway in the first one. That was terrifying. I remember watching that by myself at like, I don't know, 25 years old or something, and being really scared. But then the second Paranormal Activity movie, I was in a hotel with a girl, like traveling somewhere on the road, I don't know, some city. And I just remember us literally, I was like, let's watch Paranormal Activity 2. And she's like, I don't like those movies. And I was like, I really don't either. Like, they genuinely terrify me. Like, I'll be screaming and stuff, but I enjoy that roller coaster experience. So like, we're holding on to each other hard. Like I've got both arms wrapped around her, and she's got like both arms wrapped around me, and we're just watching like, like holding on like really tight because it's so fucking scary. Those movies frighten me. They do.
I always get embarrassed when I like am in a theater and I jump like bad at a time where like it's not even a horror movie. You're not supposed to jump. Like you're you're just watching like what fucking movie was it? I don't remember the movie, but it was probably within the last 3 years where it was just like panning around a scene on a lake or something, and then you just heard like it cut to a dog, and the dog was just like run, 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 like loudly barking, and it was just meant to be like oh, where are we now? Like, oh, a dog's barking. Is it a dangerous area of town? It was. I know it was meant to like inspire like change and transition, but to me, I was just like no, like, Jesus. Oh, okay, all right, you got everybody. Nobody. All right, everybody saw, but that's okay. I
get scared. I definitely get scared from movies. I get really into them because I feel like the tone and the feel of the movie, you have to get into that. So like I won't watch them during the day. I won't have a laptop cracked open. Like it's all the lights go down. The volume gets cranked way up. Sometimes I put a headset on, but that's a little much. Get the lights down, volume up, and really focus on the movie and try not to miss anything. And it's a little bit like a roller coaster experience. It can be terrifying.
What's the best horror movie you've ever seen? I think this is a good question because there are so many different kinds. I wonder if you're like are you a jump out scare, or are you like a psychological like in your head scare?
Yeah, The Shining is probably the best one ever made because it is horror, and it's if we're talking about like best made, like it's kind of The Shining.
Oh, The Shining.
Yeah, yeah. The Shining is probably the best one, but I don't know, The Conjuring, as far as modern movies that are good, scary horror that are kind of traditional, like it's demons and ghosts and like a family story. I think The Conjuring is really, really high up there. The Babadook really scared me a lot. I thought The Babadook was scary. It was really good. I don't know. Most classic horror, the Jasons and the Freddys, they're real shit movies, and there's a lot of nostalgia going on, a lot of member berries.
And part of my challenge is like I'm different too, right? So like when I watched a Freddy movie, the Nightmare on Elm Street, I was young, and it impacted me. If I saw it now, I might not like it as much. Poltergeist was so scary to me. I was, afraid for a long time afterwards. The tree in the window during the thunderstorm as it scratched and stuff, that was really scary to me. But I don't know how adult Woody would view it.
I watched that not too long ago. It's still fairly scary, like Caroline, come back to the light, Caroline. Mm-hmm. Don't watch the second and third one. Don't do that.
I didn't even know there was a second.
Oh yeah, they kept on.
You said Jaws a few seconds ago. That's one that people don't think of as a horror movie, but as a kid, that absolutely terrified me. Because even as a child, like if you watch a movie about, I don't know, some creepy monster, like I do think there's a part of your brain as a kid that's like, that's really scary, but I do know that 10-armed monster doesn't actually live in my closet. Like I know that. Like, it should have been obvious to 7-year-old me that a 30-foot shark didn't live in my closet either, but I did not put those pieces together. So I did not go into the ocean like the next, I don't know, couple vacations that our family took.
It's the movie that made you afraid to go back in the water. Yeah, it definitely scared me too. It frightened people into go that people were afraid to go into the pool. Like it was a scary movie. The Exorcist, of course, is very scary. It's a little dated now, after like 40 years or whatever it's been.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Mother sucks cocks in hell. It's like, holy shit. Fuck this.
That was probably because I watched that movie. Yeah, I watched that movie when I was maybe like 10 the first time. And that was at the time the worst sentence I'd ever heard anyone speak. And so like it was almost like an eye-opening thing of like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. And it was like, oh my God, like, whoa, that people talk like that. Only a demon would talk like that.
Yeah, that little girl said that shit.
The little girl,
Event,
she was possessed.
Event Horizon with Sam Neill and I think I can't think of the other Lawrence Fishburne. Maybe I'm not sure if he's in it.
I haven't seen Event Horizon.
Event Horizon's scary, man. It's space. It's basically space demons. Okay, so there's this special spaceship called the Event Horizon. I think that it's like transportation mechanism involved creating large amounts of gravity through energy waves that would then fold space. And somehow they opened up a realm to another dimension. And so it's like this crew is going out to check on the spaceship and see why it's been gone for so long. And when they get on board, this ship has been over to another dimension. It's been into a hell dimension, pretty much. And parts of that hell dimension have bled over into the ship and vice versa. And every time someone like gets a glimpse into the hell dimension, just a flash of it, they go crazy and try to kill themselves and stuff. And it's very gory and very violent.
Oh, another good one. Wait, what was that called? I want to remember. I want to watch that.
Event Horizon.
Event Horizon. Another good one. The Thing, about the base up in Antarctica or the South Pole, North Pole, wherever. And there's one of them is a shape-shifting monster. And it's just a whole movie of figuring out which person it is at what time, because it'll be like a scene of 3 people standing there in like the medical laboratory or something, and then the lights will go out, and then lights come back on, and same 3 people there, but then one of them starts acting a little weird, and then maybe another one starts acting weird in response to the first weird one. So you're thinking the whole time, like, who could it be? Like, that's a great movie.
And part of your brain will be like, but remember, this is a screenplay. So really, you'll start thinking like, I'm just thinking that. But these are just actors reading their lines. But no, there are subtle clues mixed into that screenplay and the on-screen stuff we see to let us know who the alien is in the end. John Carpenter talks about the sparkle in the character's eyes. And what he means is like catching a certain reflection in the character's eyes to let you know this is still human. So at the end, Kurt Russell is drinking the beers or liquor or whatever it is. I think it's beer. As the place burns down, he's drinking his beer and he's like, yeah, it was, kill the aliens or whatever, right? And it's the black guy left with it. They're the last 2 left. But if you watch earlier in the movie, he was filling those bottles up with gasoline, making Molotov cocktails. So when the black guy drinks the beer, he's drinking gasoline. But he doesn't know it's gasoline because he's never had a beer before because he's a fucking alien. And Kurt Russell looks back like, yeah, we got him all right. And that's the end of the movie. It's Kurt Russell knowing he's got one more to go. He's not done yet. And he knows he's going to die because there's no way to get out of here. But you can tell that all he cares about is killing this last alien. And
why is Kurt Russell going to die?
Because they're in
like
Antarctica,
North Pole,
and they just blew up their.
The whole shelter is gone, so he's going to freeze to death.
I see.
Yeah, they're fucked. Yeah.
I was looking at a list to give you some inspiration.
Alien.
That is a good one. Yeah, I especially like the second one. But 28 Days Later is an amazing. That's really good. And one I wouldn't have thought of, Shaun of the Dead. That was funny.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was great.
I show that to people. Yeah,
it's not a horror movie per se, but I really do enjoy. I like that and Hot Fuzz.
Also not a horror movie.
Yeah, not horror, but Hot Fuzz. It gets really fucked up in the end. Where they're like, for the greater good, that they've been like killing homeless people and nefarious children and just burying them in some catacomb underneath the city.
Oh, then I'm thinking of the wrong movie.
Oh, no, you're not. It just gets crazy at the end.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems normal until the end.
So.
Oh, hey, I wanted to talk about the Babadook because you said it wasn't scary. And I didn't finish it. I'm still 50 minutes in.
What is the Babadook?
Is that the film?
It's a film, yeah.
That film's dreadful.
Is it on Netflix or on
It's on Netflix. It's called The Babadook, and it's sort of like there's a monster in the closet seemingly, and you don't know if the lady's going. I don't know if the lady's going crazy or if there's an actual like magical children's book that has a demon in it that's trying to possess her and make her kill her child. But there were some really intense, scary moments in there, and we had to turn it off. My girlfriend was screaming. She was like, "Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off," and I didn't mind turning it off one bit because it really was pretty fucking scary.
We had to turn it off. Like she initiated the. It's too scary.
She initiated. She was screaming.
Did you give any, reservations where it's like, oh, you want to stick with it a little more, or were you immediately like, okay, fumbling for the remote to mute it and get it off?
Both, because what happened first was we made it 42 minutes into this hour and 30-minute movie. So 42 minutes in, stop. And I'm just like, really? We got to stop? Like, because she's done this a couple times already. And she's like, yes, I can't go anymore. And I'm like, all right, stop. So like 2 hours later, after watching some Looney Tunes or something to chill her out, I'm like, you want to try the Babadook again? Let's finish this up. And she's like, all right. So we press play at 42 minutes in. At 7 minutes later, at 49 minutes in, if any of you out there watch the Babadook, just keep in mind around 48, 49 minutes in, that's some scary fucking shit.
What's happening in it? Can you give a hint? Like a reminder for me?
Don't give too much away. Because I haven't seen a good scary movie in a long time. I think I might watch this.
Is she first seeing hints of the monster? Is that what it is?
She's under the covers and stuff's and shit's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, and when the shit went down, literally, she screamed and hit me and was like doing this, like, stop it. And I was just like, all right, fuck. Like, so we haven't went back since.
It was maybe 5 or 10 minutes after Where You Are that I figured out the representation and the symbolism of the film. And I'm not good at that, but it's like I'm never the guy that's
which leads me to believe that you're just wrong. I'm just like, no, it's a scary fucking monster, man. I'm just
Nah, I'm usually not the guy who's like, like, oh, I see this represents her fucking like penis complex or something. But in this case, I was like, I get it. The Babadook is that, and yeah, now this whole thing makes sense.
It appears the little girl is a bit afraid of this Babadook.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch. So is it an actual quality scary movie where there's suspense and it's not just like boom, boom, boom popping out at you? Because I don't get riled up by that. I don't like that. It's not.
It's
scary.
Different than that. I felt like the jump scares to me were unrelenting. It wasn't like, you were scared, weren't you? Yeah, but it was just a cat. Meow. No, it's not that. It's like, and you're just like, God, no, make it stop. When does the sun come up and we know it's just a dream? Like it just shit just keeps coming for you, and it won't let you have that moment of relief when you're just like, oh, well, that was scary, huh? Yeah. This is a pretty scary movie, isn't it? Like, there's not a lot of that bullshit. But in between scares,
I got analytical on it, which is why I was less scared. I'm like, oh yeah, she's fighting it that way. Well, that makes sense. This ties into my thesis. Like, oh yeah, and then she's doing this, and this is how she's countering it, and oh, this is how it wraps. I knew it.
Didn't you find the kid really annoying?
Oh yeah. Like in my head, I was like, so the lady's got.
The kid was perfectly cast, I thought. Like, he was supposed to be a challenging kid. He wasn't.
It was difficult to watch him, in my opinion. I mean, it was kind of scary. I understand where you're coming from, but that kid just frustrated me the whole freaking time.
In my head, like, she has a special needs kid. Like, that kid's on the spectrum somehow, and she's just. It's another thing she has to cope with.
I didn't click on like you though. I still don't actually get the ending.
Well, let's not spoil it for everyone.
I won't spoil it.
But for those of you out there, I used to pick movies every week for Netflix and let everybody watching. But like, I'll say the Babadook. I mean, the ending may change my mind, but I'm 49, 50 minutes in, somewhere in there, 48, 49 minutes in, and it's quite horrifying right now. And the last movie that scared me this badly was The Grudge, I think. And I don't know, something about stuff. Those pale faces crawling toward you, all twitchy, just really horrified me back in the day.
So you didn't like The Ring either? I hated The Grudge.
Those movies did scare me. Possession movies really scare me. Because in some small way, like if you're religious at all, or if you have any religious background, you have a little bit of there's a little bit of like thing there that's like, yeah, demons are real. Like you have actual adults who will like go along. I bet certain people in this call might know someone who believes very strongly that demons could possess you and, work into your life and make things difficult for you. So making the leap in a horror movie just becomes all that easier, and it's even more frightening. So demons scare me, aliens scare me, but slashers never scare me. Anything that I could literally deal with a gun, like I'm not scared of that at all. Like the guy sneaking into your house late at night, like he's fucked. Like
I'm the complete opposite of that. Like, if I see an alien movie, I don't really give a shit. I'm not scared. If I see a demon movie, it's like, all right, this is all make-believe. There's no ghouls and goblins out to get me. But if I see, like, not just like a slasher serial killer that's going around willy-nilly killing people like Jason, but if it's like a meticulous, calculated serial killer that would be around before you could set up your armory and be there like some gallant hero ready to fend him off. Those are creepy because it's like that guy could be standing behind me right now just with a weird smile on his face and one of those Edward Scissorhands shaving blades in his hands ready to slice you open. That's what's way scarier.
It's kind of, while the screen went white, I was typing to Mike the deeper symbolism of the movie. I'm right? Like I nailed it?
Yeah. I don't click on. I just see.
But did you appreciate the movie on a whole nother level now?
Yeah, but the kid just annoyed me the whole film. It kind of just,
okay, maybe not.
It just
He
took
was
it
an
away
annoying kid.
the scare factor.
I want like my first thought was when early on it seemed like she was super frazzled, the kid was super frazzled. I was like, if I'm that parent, I have to check myself in somewhere, and the kid needs to be checked. We have to be separated because I can't take care of the kid, and I might be like the kid might be endangering me, and I might be endangering the kid. We're better separate. Like I'd have had to cut ties with the kid.
Have you seen the new Insidious?
I haven't. I think is Insidious the one where there are the videotapes of the family murders? That's Sinister.
Oh
right?
wait,
are you thinking of Paranormal?
No,
that also describes Paranormal.
But there aren't videotapes of the murders. There's videotapes of all the paranormal activity. And the thing I'm talking about, the videotapes comprise solely of the murders.
Oh,
like there's.
Okay.
I think. Oh shit! I watched that the other night.
It's very scary.
Sinister? I think that's called Sinister.
It's Sinister. The first one had Ethan Hawke in it. That movie is very, very scary. But I'm not. I think I get that confused with what's the one you mentioned? Insidious. What's that about? What's the premise there?
They travel in like another realm to like see and they can see the dead, and the dead can come into the real world and stuff like that.
I wish we could do a movie night on PKA again. I wish I could stream a movie. You never have rights to do something like that. Well, we used to do something like that with Netflix. But just like a big chat session where we all watch together. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I could do that. Well, I like scary movies a lot. There's just not a lot of really good ones. I don't like cheap.
Just don't watch the new Insidious. It is terrible. Like the first two are pretty good in my opinion, but the last one I went to the cinema and we walked out about 3/4 of the way through. It was just
That's
dreadful.
the trouble with horror movies. I feel like if I watch, say, a romantic comedy, an action movie, or whatever, a bad movie is still like, all right. A bad horror movie can be truly, truly awful. Just a job to sit through. Bad horror movies are the worst of the bad movies. Maybe they're harder to do well. I don't know.
Yeah. Which is the one that whatever they touch in the basement is like indicative of what ends up getting them?
Huh. Oh, okay. That is Cabin in the Woods, I think.
Oh, okay.
That's a new movie, which is really good. And I try to get people to watch Cabin in the Woods, and they think it's a standard horror movie, and so they won't watch it. What it is a very well done parody.
Does that have the guy from West Wing in it?
Yes, it does. Good call.
Okay, I know this one.
Oh wait, the old bald guy, right?
He's like a red-haired ginger kind of guy, and he worked for the old bald guy. Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, it's in the West Wing. He was not Toby Ziegler. It's what's his fucking name? I gotta find it.
There's Chris Hemsworth, Kristen Connolly, Anna Hutchinson, Jesse Williams, Fran Kranz, Bradley Whitford, Richard Jenkins.
His name's Bradley
Whitford.
He played Josh Lyman. Lyman. Yeah. So yeah, he's in it as well. And basically, what's going on in that movie? It's a fun movie, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's worth watching. It's a parody of all of the horror movie tropes. It's a little funny, but not to the point of just like throwing away any semblance of being a little scary. It's a little scary, but it's a really interesting take on like every horror movie you've ever seen.
There's a meta plot, and it's fun to see it evolve. Evolve.
Yeah. I like that movie a lot. It's hard to get people to watch it though because they think it's just like another like goofy horror movie in the woods.
No, it's not that.
You guys watched any good horror movies recently? Like not the silly kind, the good kind.
Have you seen The Conjuring?
I watched that 2 nights ago.
There you go.
Really? 2 or 3 nights ago.
What'd you think?
It was pretty good.
That's That's the best horror movie. It's top 5 ever. It's one of the best horror movies ever made. It's legitimately scary. Very good acting. Very good casting. Interesting story. The third act is probably the weakest for sure. Like
slow.
It got a little slow, and
I like the main actor in that.
Yeah, the guy from Chiz knows his name, but he's the guy from Band of Brothers.
He's the Lieutenant Winters.
Ron
friend.
Livingston. Yeah, thanks,
Yep.
Chiz.
Yeah, I like
Chiz
him.
always knows that one.
Are you more afraid of, or I guess what spooks you more, the supernatural kind of horror movie where it's like demons, goblins, ghouls, or whatever, or the kind where it's like serial killer or some deranged, torturing guy who's unsuspecting on the outside? Like what kind of gets your goat more?
So the Rob Zombie movies make me very uncomfortable, and I don't find them enjoyable at all. I kind of like, because it's like real, like and horrific things happen to like normal people that don't deserve it at all. Just like, and the bad guys are often like rapey and disgusting and hard to look at. He cast a lot of those like freaky looking actors that like have no other use other than to be like scary guy number 1 and scary guy number 2. The Devil's Rejects is a good example. Like there's a part where like he takes the lady's husband outside and kills him, and then when he comes back, and then the husband comes back in the room, but he's bleeding, and the lady's like, "What happened, Dave? What happened?" And Dave doesn't say anything, and then she realizes that like he's killed her husband and he's wearing his face. He's peeled the guy's face off and he's fucking wearing it, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, that's too much. I don't need that. Or like I don't even remember which one. It might be the first Devil's Reject, or it might be like one of the something House. But like they're all wearing bunny costumes. And they're burying them alive and stuff. I don't need that.
What is that? Wait, you mean you don't need that? Like that's what scares you more, or you don't need it? Like, I don't even want to watch that. I'd rather watch the ghost stuff.
Yeah, the Ring was a little scary. The Grudge, when I first watched it, maybe if I watched it now, it wouldn't fright me. But The Grudge, when I watched it at the time, was the scariest movie I'd ever seen. I watched it right when it came out on like DVD. I find The Descent, when I watched that in theaters, that was terrifying. And The Ring's a little scary. It's not super scary.
The Ring isn't that bad. The Descent I watched recently as well. And for me, the thing that was scary and unnerving in that movie wasn't the pale cave dwelling ghouls or whatever they are. It was all the times they were like tight in there, like trying to get through, and they were trapped. Yeah. That's what really freaks me out, because it's like the supernatural stuff doesn't get me as much, because it's like I don't believe in any of this stuff. Like as soon as the movie's over, you stop suspending your disbelief.
This is The Descent,
and you go, yeah, and you're like, all right, well that's not actually scary, but like the thought of like your chest being compressed by some rock that's falling on it, and that's going to be the last second of your life, or you're not going to be the last second of your life. You're going to stay there and starve to death, while your friends try and aimlessly escape. That kind of stuff. It's creepy.
This is an unpopular opinion, but I watched The Descent. I've said it before. The whole time thinking there would be some wet t-shirts and boobs involved, right? It's a movie about a bunch of women underground with lots of water moving around. It's a horror movie. All horror movies have some skin, right? Like that. It's part of the agreement we go into.
The bad exploitative ones do, but this one was. I love this. Like I generally speaking.
Quick, girls! They can smell your bras.
I hate the
I want to see Taylor's
films.
Movies.
I hate when they just recast, like Ghostbusters or something, when they just recast a movie with a bunch of ladies. The Descent's a perfect example of writing an original story with an all-female cast and it making sense.
I remember there being a guy in it and they just killed him off right away.
He dies.
Like he'd be the first one to go.
Yeah. Well, he dies in a completely separate event. He is the sort of the reason for their trip. It's one of the ladies' husbands, and then you find out that the Asian chick was banging him behind her back, and then that puts them against one another. I love that. That was great. I love The Descent.
I forgot all those details.
Is the second one good?
No, don't watch the second one.
I won't bother.
No, don't watch the second one.
Oh, have you seen that movie with It's on Netflix, I think. It's about this deaf girl who's in a house. And there's like a really scary guy outside who keeps fucking with her. I don't want to give away. Called Hush. Thank you, Chiz.
No,
that's a good one. Like the lack of sound in it is way more unnerving than the music in a movie. It's almost like when you hear music in a movie, it's a reaffirmation that it's just a picture, it's just a film. But the complete lack of it, like you're hearing it from her perspective of like nothing. And so there'll be times where like there's something right nearby and you want to yell out to her, but it's like she's being fucked with.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Did you guys see Gerald's Game?
Yeah, it was okay.
I did. I thought it was all right. The book was better.
Reader.
Jackie won't let you tie her up anymore, will she?
The beauty of tying up is she doesn't need to let me.
Yes.
I guess we talked about it before.
The game is over.
It was fun. I thought it was a neat movie. What did you like Gerald's Game? I know we talked about it. Where did you guys stand on it?
It's meh. It wasn't as good as 1922, which I know you hate.
Yeah, I was on the other side of that.
Yeah. Also Annabelle, which is in the Conjuring universe. If you've seen the Conjuring, Taylor, now you can watch Annabelle. If you recall, in the Conjuring, the doll, remember that creepy fucking doll?
Yeah.
It gets its own movie. So there's a whole movie about the doll. And coming soon is a movie called The Nun, which is a prequel. There's a part in Annabelle where there's this photograph on the wall of a nun, and it's like eyes are like following the chick. It's super creepy, but it's just a little like I don't know. It in the same way they sort of made Annabelle like a little tiny part of The Conjuring and then spun it off. They sort of did the same thing with the photograph of the nun in Annabelle. And so that's coming out soon. We could watch the trailer, I guess, but I didn't think the trailer was very good. The nun, something about a possessed nun or a demonic nun or some shit like that. But yeah, Annabelle's pretty fucking scary. But the thing is, and I've said this before, any movie where the bad guy is a doll, like Chucky, I was always like, bring it the fuck on. Bring it the fuck on, you little redheaded bitch. I got tools.
Yeah.
Those got hands that work.
And Chucky didn't have supernatural strength.
He did. He was strong, but not stronger than you.
Yeah, I always
he was strong enough to like throw a bitch a smack. Like
whatever. I didn't. He wasn't Superman or anything. He just seemed to. People would sit down so he could hurt them. As he slowly walked their way. He wasn't super agile. He just seemed like a really weak opponent.
Once you got your hands on that little bitch, it's dememberment and melting time. And I'm going to melt you down and put you in a little glass jar. And I'm going to sink that little melted goop of you to the bottom of the ocean. And that's going to be the end of you, my friend. Like, it's game over, bro. You silly. There's not going to be a Chucky 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Gremlins had hints of that, too. I always felt like, now look, I know there were a lot of gremlins, and that's a problem. But a single gremlin? How is that thing so deadly? It weighs 6 pounds.
It was kind of a horror comedy.
Okay.
Especially the second
almost like a horror comedy.
Yeah,
I've only seen one of them.
Jennifer Tilly's in the later ones with her big titties flopping around everywhere. Big fan of that. And Bride of Chucky.
There's always Babadook still up there for you. I remember
I couldn't even finish it. I refused to go back to it. It was terrifying for me. Of course, when I watch a scary movie, like we're not watching that shit at noon with like an iPad, with Reddit scrolling or anything. The lights are out. It's the only thing playing. I turn the volume up to like 75% of maximum, and I'm in a room, like completely blacked out, watching just this, and I focus on it 100%. Like it's a roller coaster ride. You try to get the intent of the movie to do its thing, and I found the Babadook to be terrifying. Just scared the shit out of me. And whenever you'd see its face, like she's in bed and the door opens and it comes in the room and then it's on the ceiling, crawling on the ceiling toward her in a very unnatural way. And then when she like peeks out from under the covers, it like inverts, does like a 180 and then lurches face to face with her with those sharp teeth and that crazy fat. I was like, oh, that's it. We're done.
We're done with the Babadook.
I've never done that with any other movie where I was just like, no, I'm done. We're not watching this. I'm not finishing the Babadook. And I did. I didn't finish it. I won't finish it. Don't need that.
Did that one scare you, Woody, or no?
Not. I mean, it had my attention, but it didn't have the same impact on me that it did in Kyle.
Like the creepiest part of that movie was like the little additions to the book that would come back, I think, where, they would come back and it'd have like an extra 2 pages of creepy ass rhymes that were strangely applicable to every little thing that had been happening there. And I liked that. And watching her slowly going insane and trying to figure out, like, is any of this like real, or is she so sleep deprived, so, stressed out, and she just lost her mind. And there's just, this was like the little trigger that made it into her head to freak her out.
I still say The Fourth Kind is very scary.
I haven't seen that one.
I watched that when it came out. It's very disturbing. I wouldn't watch it.
I don't know how it ends. I have no idea how this movie's going to end.
It's very scary. It's you probably got a taste there. Basically, what the owl is. These people's memories have been altered, so that
it's an alien.
It's a fucking alien, and it's when they show the old footage, like the archive footage, and then they match it up with the actor's portrayal. It adds another depth to the story and they play the old audio files and stuff. It really fucked with me for a long time. I didn't enjoy watching that. I was afraid they were going to show a specific scene, and I was having a hard time. I was like, they're not going to show it, are they? Not going to show it, are they? Yeah, it still fucks with me. Yeah, it's I'm a little scared now. I
want to see it.
And
now.
you don't even want to see it?
Oh, I wouldn't watch it again because I don't want to be scared by it. It would give me nightmares, and I would have a hard time sleeping alone.
Wow.
What movie has made you guys nightmare the most after having seen it that you remember?
Yeah, it would have to be when I was little. I had trouble with Friday the 13th back in the day.
Fire in the Sky, which is another alien abduction movie, of course. When you see the aliens torturing him, and again, it's another one that's, he passed a polygraph saying about the aliens taking him. He disappeared inexplicably for days. He was a logger or something like that. His friends saw him run into the woods after a light they saw, and then he disappeared for like 3 or 4 days, and he came back and he had holes drilled in his fucking teeth. And he shows up naked, 3 or 4 days later, all fucked up, and he has this tale of alien torture and abduction, and they show it all. And I watched that when I was like 12, and so I couldn't sleep with the lights off for a long time because I was afraid they were going to come and take me.
Well, that's a good one. How long is a long time?
A month or 2.
That is a long time to sleep with the lights on.
Did you see?
For me, it was Jaws.
I haven't seen Get Out yet. I know it's excellent. Everyone says it's excellent. I know it's excellent.
I thought it was
will
good.
Watch it. Next time I hang out with Chiz, I'm going to watch it. I want to, because he's such a fucking, he's such a big fan of it. He's been trying to get me to watch it forever.
So Chiz has seen it.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
loved
always trying
it.
to push it on me. Yeah, totally.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. I don't understand why people are saying it's a great movie. Because it's just good.
I haven't seen it.
It's like a Star Wars. The whole world has decided this movie is over the top, incredible, super good, a part of our culture. And I look at it and I'm like, well, it was good. Like, I enjoyed the movie, but I don't see why it's considered so special.
Yeah. Yeah, some movies are like that. You just don't get it.
Well, Chiz is here to explain it for so many reasons I can't go into. There you have it, people.
Oh!
What happened?
I did it to myself.
What'd you do?
Let's watch a scene from Fire in the Sky. And I didn't sleep with the lights off.
You want to think that humans are way beyond doing that to some creature we find, but are we?
I mean, we'd anesthetize them. Unless it was medical.
You think you know how to anesthetize an alien? Like,
you whack them over the head. That'll
might do it.
Down. That's fucked. Yeah, and that goes on for a long. That's just one little bit.
What are they trying to learn? They're like being that advanced. They got some real steampunky looking equipment too.
Yeah. I was that first knife that cut the like latex thing off of him. I'm like, that thing's not even very sharp. That's not a good knife at all. It was like cutting it and then it like didn't cut it for a spot and cut it again some more. I'm like, that's what a dull knife does.
Yeah,
shitty little hook. These are just renegade aliens. Just like maybe these are like the serial killer aliens.
Yeah, I don't like alien movies, not even a little bit. That's what scares me the most. We've talked about it before. Like the demonic thing is a little. It's the next rung down, I guess.
You believe in demons, don't you?
You know, like I don't believe in demons in the sense that there's demonic possession and like Satan is like and they're like minions of Satan or anything.
Mhm.
And Chiz is like, oh, look at you backpedal. No, what I said then and what I'll say now is like maybe there's some sort of supernatural occurrence that has a scientific explanation that early man called a demon. That's what I said then. That's what I'll say now. I don't know. Maybe it's an interdimensional being. Like that's definitely a thing. There are other dimensions. Like all those smart people say there are. So there must be.
You
know,
said there's a higher chance of there being angels and demons than aliens. Are you gonna backpedal onto your it's a comedy show thing? Okay.
What I said was that there was a higher chance of angels and demons in the sense that I just described angels and demons as being something like an interdimensional being or something like that, or some sort of energy creature that we can't really fathom that early man called angels and or demons. Then there was a chance that aliens have visited Earth, because I feel like that is like almost.
Then you're not even talking about like angels and demons anymore. You're
Exactly,
talking about like
I'm
a misattribution by someone else of aliens. So
that's
it's all
exactly
alien.
what I'm saying, and it always gets misconstrued by Chiz because of his. Well,
we need to have a super fan pull up the original clip of what Kyle said.
I always say that. I'm always you know, we're not talking about like angels as like the first creations of Jehovah.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's not embarrassing if you do believe in demons. Like most people do.
Yeah, most people do. But I don't believe that there are demons as described in the Bible or in the Torah. I don't believe that
or
Satan
the Supernatural TV show.
Oh no, that's all real. That's a documentary.
No, I found a new TV show. It's on Prime, like the first season is, and it's basically Lost. It's like Lost, but better, if you ask me. So here's the premise, okay? And it's got the black guy from Lost. I don't know that actor's name. This is all I've ever seen him in, but it's the black guy from Lost. That dude, if you've seen Lost.
Michael?
Sure, if you say so. That basically, these people are in a town that you can't leave. If you try to drive out of town, the road just kind of makes a loop and brings you back. Everybody got there because they were driving along. There was a tree in the road. They turned around, headed back the other way, and now they're kind of in like a pocket universe or something. They're in this Twilight Zone sort of episode that is this town, and they can't get out of it no matter what they do. And at night, monsters come and eat people.
Okay. Do new people get added to the cast, or
constantly?
Is it very... Okay.
Yeah.
This is Damon Lindelof.
I don't know what.
What's the name of the show?
From FROM.
Oh no, he is the other Lost creator guy has another show, I guess. Okay, continue.
Where is it streamed?
So you can watch the first season on Prime. That's the place to do it. Amazon Prime's stream. The second season, because it's produced by them, is on MGM Plus. Yeah, I'd never heard of it either, but I'll tell you what, I'm a new subscriber over there because I had to see season 2, and there's 3 episodes of season 2 out right now, and I had to keep it rolling. I powered through this whole goddamn show last night, all through the fucking night. I liked it so much.
How long are the episodes? Like hour?
They're like 50 minutes each.
But what are you watching on MGM Plus now? Now they're like, you want to watch Wizard of Oz again?
Yeah, I haven't even, dude. I when I bought it, it was like, all right, buy now. Episode 1, go, because the end of season 1. I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but the end of season 1 is a cliffhanger, and it's like, oh shit, I got to find out what happened, because a lot of shit goes down at the end of season 1. So basically, you got these monsters that come at night, and there's townsfolk at this point who've accumulated over the years, and it's this real mixed bag. And there's 2 groups. One group is kind of a hippie group that lives up on the hill in an old like mansion house, like a farmhouse, really.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of rooms, and they're in there smoking weed and drinking and fucking. And then there's the townsfolk, and that's the more like the couples and the families, and they're in more of there's a diner. And there were a few things that bothered me about the show at first. I needed some answers, but
there's so many questions at first they can't get to them quickly enough. I'm like, all right, where's the food coming from? They explain that. They explain where the food comes from. And then I was like, all right, well, where's the fucking electricity coming from? They not only explain it, they make it a whole centerpiece of the show about why the electricity here is weird. And then I was like, well, all right, the road is some weird magical loop. What happens if we start walking into the woods? And then they answer that. They're like, all right, well, let's go into the woods and find out. The only thing that's a little hokey, and they eventually explain it, a child gets injured in the first episode severely. And I'm thinking, damn, that kid's probably not going to make it. And at the end of the episode, he's on some crutches. And I was like, but then later on, they kind of explain that away enough that I'm digging the show. And it reminds me of Lost a lot. More low budget Lost. And it reminds me a lot of the Twilight Zone, like a good Twilight Zone episode.
Love that.
I powered through that first season really quick, and I'm digging the second season.
I'll look that up after the show
episodes.
Yeah, I like the way that sounds too, and I really loved Lost, and I even liked the way Lost ended. I was content with the whole experience.
Here's the thing that fucking hooked me in the first episode. No, it's too much of a spoiler. I'll say this: they show a dead body, and it's so gory and shocking that I was like, oh. You don't usually see that on TV. They show a thing that you don't usually see on TV.
You're like, as a felon, I am intrigued.
Oh, they wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't. They'd in prison.
Like those cartel photos.
Yeah, it's like a cartel photo. Like, but it happens in a room. You see it, and you know, women and children aren't safe. Nobody's safe. If you're outside at night, they get you and they skin you alive while your friends listen to you scream and like eat you and like tear you apart, really eviscerate you in like an animalistic
going outside after night or after dark.
Yeah, and the only hokey thing is they've got like some magical talismans that you have to put on the inside of your door to keep the bad guys out.
That's not hokey in the context of a like
Judaism,
like ridiculous world.
There you go.
All trapped.
I'll call it a mezuzah. Yeah.
A mezuzah.
So they've all got mezuzahs.
Hey, don't laugh at our words.
So really, I'm excited to watch that show from.
I really do.
I really want something interesting.
I need
know how
to get
Lost
season
would
2
have-
on Plex. Just dropping hints.
Oh god, I gotta send that guy my fucking email sometime. So I
Oh,
stop.
dude, it kills me because Kyle will talk about like 5 cool movies from 1997, and then I look at like what's been added, and it's all 5, like in order that we talked about them on the show. He's on everything. I'm sure From will show.
Yeah. Well, I do recommend this show. I like it a bunch. I don't think it's like a fucking AAA title or anything, but it's better than just a background noise show because they've paid a lot of attention to detail. I'm nitpicky. I'll believe in wizards and aliens and ghouls and shit as long as you establish some rules and you stick to them, and as long as you don't leave glaring plot holes. Like I said, there was a part where a child gets hurt and he heals too quickly, and nothing is said of it for a while, and I was like. The fuck, dude, that was a serious injury that kid took. And then somebody's like, man, you're healing kind of fast, huh, buddy? And he's like,
I think people heal different here.
and then it's like, all right, that's all I fucking needed. That's all I needed. Tell me people heal differently here, and I can buy that his leg's cool now and that he didn't die just now. Holy shit. Because he should have.
If there's an aspect of magic, it's easy to,
Well, see, part of the fun of the show, and I still don't know, so there's nothing for me to spoil, but it's like, man, are they dead? Is this like a sci-fi type thing? Is this another universe that they fell into? Is this a religious type thing? Are those demons after them? Is God on their side? Is there an overseer like watching through a glass like hologram? Like you don't know like what the fucking deal is.
How many episodes are in the first season?
Like 10 episodes, like 45, 50 minutes each.
You tore through 9 hours of this show yesterday?
I started watching yesterday at like, I don't know, 8 p.m. or something. And I stayed up like all night watching the show. And then I got up today and polished off another 4 or 5 episodes or something.
Wow. All right. Well, if it was that engaging, I'm so tired of only finding stuff that like I watch for 20 minutes and I'm like, oh yeah, this should be squarely in background noise. Like this isn't even worth paying attention.
They haven't annoyed me yet. And it's easy to annoy me and lose my business as a viewer for whatever value that has.
I'm on season 2 of From now. So I'm almost caught up on that. I think I'm maybe 2 episodes in. There's maybe 4 out so far. So I'm just two down. I'm enjoying it. I am a little frustrated by the speed at which it's going and how that can sometimes play out in incompetently slow-witted and slow-moving characters. It's absolutely driving me nuts. There's a scene where they set up like a piece of electronics outdoors and the rain starts to come. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
They have like 18 people on the case of moving it in and they can't get it accomplished in time.
Dude.
Is this huge issue for them?
Let me quickly tell them like what we're talking about and Finn.
Okay.
So From is this show. The first season of it is on Amazon Prime. The second season, in North America, this shit is anyway. I've been watching on MGM Plus, but I'm sure you can find a different way. Basically, it's Lost, but instead of an island, these people got there because their cars, they were driving along on a road, could have been in Georgia, could have been in California, but they saw a tree in the middle of the road and they're like, got to turn back the other way. And the other way turned out to be just now this loop of a road in kind of a pocket universe with a little abandoned town in it. And the town's got people who this also happened to in it. They're all just stuck there with whatever supplies they came with in their cars. And at night monsters come and they eat you if you don't, and you have to stay inside. And it's just like Lost. Every episode, you're like, oh my God, not only are there monsters, there's demons now. And what? There's the ground is hollow. Like every episode, it's a new crazy mystery that you're finding out. And I've been enjoying it. It's got the black guy from Lost, which I want them at the end to tie this back into Lost. Like with him somehow. Like go ahead and do that.
God damn it. How is From Hurley's dream?
I just wanted to make a little reference to Lost, right? I love it when they do that. Like when who played Barney in How I Met Your Mother? He's Neil Patrick Harris.
And he's gay.
Yeah. If Neil Patrick Harris just makes a little, reference to how what did he used to say? He was awesome, but he sang it out.
I haven't seen that show really.
Shucks. Anyway, if he would just like make a reference to his catchphrase in the old show, I love it when they do that. This guy should be like, "Oh, I'm afraid the others are out there," or just whatever.
Walking Dead did that a lot.
Mm-hmm. It'd be fun.
They would have. I know they had Negan's bat in an episode of Supernatural, and then Negan had the gun from Escape from New York. He had Snake Plissken's gun in an episode, which is an awful gun. It's like a suppressed Mac with like a rifle scope on it. So the eye relief doesn't make sense. You hold it at arm length and now the scope doesn't work, but you can't hold a Mac.
The actor who played Glenn, and maybe there's more crossover, was in a cartoon called Invincible. And in Walking Dead, there's a handful of like Invincible action figures and stuff in it. Little action.
Oh. I didn't want to completely get away from though. I do want people to watch it because I think it's a fun show. It's not some AAA title. It's not fucking Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, but it's a real fun show to watch. And I watch it as soon as it comes out because I want to know. I'm gonna be so mad if they're fucking us over and they have no idea what all the answers to all the goofy ass questions they're asking. I need to know: is it God? Is it demons? Is it magic? Is it warlocks and wizards? Is it
made
black
it pretty
magic?
clear they're not dead. I feel like they've told us 3 times that they're not dead.
Yeah.
They asked the question. This is not a spoiler, but there's one group in the show that writes their stuff on the wall in an effort to figure out the overarching mystery. And they asked, "Are we dead?" And then they explain it. They keep assuring us it's not purgatory, it's not death. So that I think we're supposed to know.
Here's the thing that bugs me:
is
no Bibles. Yeah, please go. I'm sorry.
Interesting about the Bibles. I got knocked off my train of thought. It's better as a binge watch, I think, because I think sometimes these episodes can move a little slow. They have this overarching mystery that they're gonna I'm 14 hours into it now, and I've only learned a bit. It is better if you can just watch them back to back. If I watched, if one of these episodes came out and that was all I had for the whole week, and there was 90 seconds worth of forward motion, it would frustrate me.
Yeah. There's multiple plot lines. One of the interesting things, and I'm not going to spoil anything here, but the season finale of season 1 had 3 different cliffhangers. It's like 3 different crazy. There was the crazy thing happening at the diner.
Oh my God.
There was a crazy thing happening in the basement of a house. There was crazy shit happening off in the woods. And there may have been more.
I don't remember the diner thing. Can you drop
someone showed up at the end of season 1. Someone showed up.
Was
that
it
was unusual? Yeah, an unusual thing happened there. So then it ends, and I can't imagine having to wait a year. I'd have completely forgot, but it made me instantly buy that stupid fucking MGM Plus app that has nothing else on it. The show, we're all hate watching at this point. I think we've kind of turned the corner. I'm not done yet. I'm coming back for more, but I am starting to get the sense, and I realize it happened quickly, but I guess I was counting on last episode to finally answer something, and they're spending so much time in rooms talking about nonsense or asking new questions that it feels like they have no interest in spending time on the old questions like the bottles or the lighthouse or anything. So yeah, I'm turning against.
I'm frustrated by the absolute incompetence of all of the characters. Everyone just ill-timed panic attacks are the name of the game in this show. These are monsters that can only walk. I am telling you guys, I'm not fast. But if a monster can only walk, I'm a video game fucking hero. I could defeat them with a baseball bat, maybe, or at the very least avoid injury and go from house to house.
I can defeat anyone in a fight if they can't catch me.
Taylor put it. No,
I'll just switch sidewalks to the other side of the street. They're baffled by this move.
Yeah,
Taylor nailed it. Like the three of us could solve this fucking show. That's how I rank my shows. I need a show where you give me answers, but I couldn't fix this if I were there. We could fix this. Because first of all, I know where the monsters live. Second of all, I know they don't like the sunlight. And third of all, I've got magic that works against them. Jesus Christ, we're going to go drag them out. We're going down there. Here's what we do. Go down there with a rope. We tie it around the motherfucker's leg. Zoop! We got a monster. Everybody starts pulling now at the end of the rope. Drag this cocksucker upstairs, and we put him in a circle of talismans, doors, like lock him into a cube of talisman doors, and we interrogate him, and we burn him as we interrogate him with either the sunlight or fire. I don't care until there's nothing left. Burn him until he's gone. Like you tell me bullets don't hurt him? Okay. Put him on the pyre and burn him like a witch of olden times.
We haven't seen a headshot yet.
We haven't even seen a headshot yet.
We
would repeat the process of dragging them out. We'd start when the sun came up, while they're all tuckered out. We've only seen like 15, 20 of those things tops. We drag every fucking one of them out and kill them. Like now there's no monsters.
They're pretty dangerous. I'm a little worried about your plan because like when the priest died, it was just one slash. Someone was like, hey, I need help.
They're all tuckered out.
Okay.
So I'm all sleepy under there.
Yeah, but it depends if they wake up when you walk in or if they're like, they stay asleep.
No, they
like
didn't.
Vampires.
They were like walking around them and they were ridiculously sleepy.
I would try the headshot first.
Oh yeah. I mean, cut the head off. What happens then? See, this is the problem. You've got to answer these stupid fucking questions or I can't watch your goddamn show. If you don't cut one's head off and then he grows a new head, you show me that and I'll buy in.
Can you just rig up a bunch? You could just rig up a bunch of pipes that has nothing in it and just believe that it has gas and like
the characters don't communicate with each other, and that is just unforgivable. Is what that is. They need to communicate with each other. They're all there, stuck in the same sinking boat, and they're not even working together to solve these problems. Like husband and wives are barely talking to each other, not talking to each other. How can this communication be such a breakdown? They all have poorly timed panic attacks. Every time they get into trouble, they like sit down and get frightened. Oh my gosh, these monsters only walk. If you see a monster, just like skip the other way or something, and you'll be.
There's no stick-to-itiveness in that group. That big fat bitch is the worst. She'll be like, I'm in charge and I'm going to panic. And it's like, you're just upsetting people. You're upsetting
the onboarding process is unbelievably horrible. Like, oh, new people came in. Let's like point guns at them and hold them on lockdown all night, designed to create the most amount of panic and the least amount of trust.
Yeah.
It
freeze if you want to live. Like that kind of right? Like, you have to come inside with me. We only have 40 minutes to explain this a 2-sentence thing here. Like, so I'm gonna strong arm you into the cafe instead.
Every now and then there's a moment where someone actually says it, speaks like a person, and they're like, no, you don't understand. Dave and Mike were down by the river and they fell and got hurt. We've got to head there right now with Becky because she's got the medical kit. Do you have a knife, flashlight, and gun? All right, quick, let's go. Lock up before we do. No one ever does that, right?
No.
Because that's what you'd actually do.
Yeah.
You'd like solve 3 problems, make sure they had no retort other than yes, sir, and you get the door locked behind you. Like, there's no need for a conversation here.
The amount of pushback on good ideas where it'll be like, we need to do this, we need to gather this, bring it here, and set this up, and that fat bitch will be like, you don't know where you are, do you? And it's like, you're talking to someone who's been here for days.
If you have a talisman,
I love dope, but the fact that they're always stoned is annoying the fuck out of me. I'm gonna sober up for this shit, boys. Like, come on.
If you have a talisman and you're inside, then you're safe. Now, it's been proven talismans work on structures as weak as tents. Tents. A tent weighs 2 pounds. I could walk with the fully assembled tent through the night, and if things get rough, put the door on me.
Fred Flintstone it.
Oh yeah, yeah, right.
You know those like poor people outfits from like the 19-teens movies where they have suspenders and just a big barrel.
Yeah,
you just have a barrel with a lid over the side. Everyone walks around in barrels all day.
Oh my God,
you just get down, and then it's like nighttime. And everybody goes, they close up, and they've all got a little talisman, and immediately the show's over, and it's a terrible show. no one likes it. Yeah, it was exciting until they did that fucking stupid barrel shit, and now it seems like they really solved it. I don't see how they're gonna get around this barrel. Exactly, that's what you need. You need
in Rust on some servers. There are these blue barrels that you can wear. You drag it on your character as their clothing item, and when you crouch, you now look like a barrel. And there's a barrel just like that exists as a static item in the game. So people will do all kinds of silly shit with those. They'll crouch down and wear their barrel costume. You can do that in Sea of Thieves as well. Like you can hide as a barrel. It's fun. You can set all sorts of ambushes. You can like barrel up next to the recycling machine, and people will be right next to you and like watching them.
I don't know what the game mode is called, but it was a couple Call of Duties ago. Prop hunt. That was the only fun thing I enjoyed doing on that Call of Duty. And basically, like, one team is a bunch of guys with guns, and the other team is like you are randomly assigned a static piece of decoration or furniture. It could be a cone, it could be a tire, it could be an ammo box, it could be a chair, a couch, anything, an electrical box. And you get 3 switches throughout the game. And so, like, if you're the electrical box and you are running away from a guy, and you take a corner, you can switch to something random, and maybe you turn into a lamppost, which is going to make it way harder. Or maybe you turn into a little ammo box, and you just sneak up against the wall, and he runs around and misses you. That was so much fun. Like just being a tire and like trying to like angle yourself around things as they would sneak up on you. I want to play that again. Was Prop Hunt like a really popular game mode in some?
I bet there's a standalone game if you want to do that. Like we could probably find a game that just does that.
You could do it in Minecraft.
Oh, have you ever seen Vivarium?
Yes, I actually have seen that one. The cover is like a veiny arm or something, right?
That's the one. No, that's the one where they're stuck in the green house in the pocket dimension and they can't get away from it.
Okay, I have seen that one where they're trying to dig their way out and they get assigned a child.
So Woody, this is a fun movie. I won't spoil a whole ton of it. Actually, I will. So it's on Netflix, and young couple. It's Eisenberg. Jesse Eisenberg's the guy, and the two of them are house hunting, I suppose, and they go into this very peculiar real estate agent's office. He takes them to this new development, and all the houses are identical. And they go in, and they're like, "This is kind of whack" or whatever. And they go outside, and he's gone. The real estate agent's gone. He's kind of just disappeared. Well, they hop in their car, and no matter what way they turn, they can't get out of the subdivision. And they keep driving past number 9, the same house, over and over and over until they run out of gas. They've switched places. He's already been like, let me drive. And still, they can't get out of here. And long story short, the next day, a baby is there in a box, and it says, "Raise this baby, and then you can go free." And so then begins this montage of this baby grows like a dog. Like it's growing fast. It's clearly and it talks, its lips move, and then almost like a speaker from within it plays a voice that's disconnected. And it screams like a banshee when it wants food until it's like the milk is in the cereal and the spoon is stuck in, and then immediately its mouth shuts and it eats. It's disturbing to live with. He's like,
sounds like a normal baby, really.
It is. I kind of liked it.
It's a dark, dreary, depressing, sad movie. The girl is outside looking at the clouds, and she's like, "Clouds here are all cloud shaped, all of them, cloud shaped clouds." It's
that happens here
sickening. Yeah, but some of them look like dogs. Some of them look like a house. Some of them look like a face. They're all like cartoon clouds.
Yeah,
they're like little poof
nimbus
balls. Little poof balls, just copy pasted in the sky. Like none of it's real. They're in this like weird pocket dimension where these aliens use humans like cuckoo birds. You know how the cuckoo bird lays its egg?
Yeah.
And the cuckoo hatches out, pushes the sparrows or whatever they are out of the nest, the robins, whatever. And then the mother doesn't know any better. She has to feed it. Like they're human cuckoos.
It was sad. It was not a satisfying ending.
Why? Did they go free?
They died, and the baby had grown to be the exact same man who had dropped them off, like a clone of him, essentially. And he Ziploc bagged them and threw them in the hole the husband had been digging to try to escape the whole time. And that was that.
Yep. Not a tale of jubilation at the end.
It was
there weren't enough answers at the end.
I needed a drink after that movie. That was so.
You need to drown it with a little Dos Equis.
But it's kind of cool because the movie seems to have impacted you. Therefore, that movie was well done.
It's one of those movies where the premise is so fascinating that it pulls you through the entire thing, even if as it's going, you're like, well, even if I was in this situation, this isn't the behavior I'd do. Or
I
this
kill that kid, right? Would you kill that kid?
Yes. Yeah. It clearly it was so like it did that thing where the kid was around for like the kid had been there for 3 weeks and he was already 7 years old. And then the wife is like, something's not right. And it's like, no shit. Like it's been evident since step one of this that something's not right.
The husband's like, that's not a boy. She's like, that boy. She's like, it's not a boy. That's not a child. I don't know what that is. And he tries to kill it. He tries to go lock it in the car and like leave it out there to die. And she goes and gets it out of the car and brings it in because it's screaming. Dude, I would have pickaxed that thing. That thing was clearly like a demon.
Yeah.
There's one part that's actually like scary in the whole thing where the boy can, the whole time he's mocking them to their face, but he can perfectly duplicate their voice from within.
He's like a mimic.
He's like it's like he's a voice recorder almost. And she's trying to, he's been leaving the house and he says he's going to talk to someone, but he can't say to who. Like he goes somewhere. They can't walk down the street without coming out the other side in a circle. But this guy's been leaving during the day and he's got like a school book written in alien fucking languages and shit, but he won't tell him where he's going or who he's talking to. And so she's like, can you mimic daddy? And he goes, I'm so tired of this. Nothing tastes good anymore. Oh, that's so good. Can you mimic mommy? Yeah, of course I can. Oh, that's great. Could you mimic anyone else? The doggy. He goes, ruff, 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 ruff. And it's like, okay. What about anybody else? Maybe the person you met with today? And he just goes, and and his throat starts swelling in this unnatural frog-like way from both sides. And she just starts sobbing in terror, backing away from him. And it's like, fuck. This
this is
dark.
That's a bad answer. Like, not what any of us wanted to hear.
Not what I wanted to hear at all. That was a dark, depressing, sad, but also an interesting premise. Like I love the cuckoo. At the very beginning, you see the cuckoo thing happen. You know, so it's you see like a cuckoo pushing the other babies out.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of in your head that that's what's going on here. That was a dark fucking movie. I guess you're right, Woody. If it affected me, it's done its job. I watched some movies and I'm just like, meh. All right, good guy won, huh? Guess he shot them all.
Right. 1/3 of the way through this, I could have written the other 2/3.
There's so many movies where you've got like the estranged husband, right? The wife, she's got a new guy that she's been like living with, and he's worried about his son maybe becoming this guy's son a little bit too much. And then the boyfriend dies. He gets killed in the plague, the tragedy. It happened in 2012. That movie where the whole world's falling apart. And then the wife forgets that motherfucker immediately and arm wrapped around old husband. And we're all smiling. And it's like, man, this is so fake. There's nothing real about this. We'd all be destroyed. We'd all be
Walking Dead.
destroyed. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Although in that, at least I feel like with Rick especially, he's just like, there's nothing left to feel. Like he's just always sort of in the state of being traumatized or dealing with the previous trauma after maybe season 5 or 6. He's just always fucked up and usually physically beaten. He's often all swollen up and cut and bruised.
Dude, I know I watch more Walking Dead, I think, than most people. And I think the move is to kill yourself in that universe. Even the people that do thrive and sort of get on top of it,
yeah,
you will never have joy again. There is no goodness.
I think they just suck
moments between terribleness, but there's no joy.
You just got to go so far north that they can't walk around, and you can find joy, but you're just going to be cold.
I
I'm not in this universe. I don't think there's a cold problem, but they can't swim. So there might be some sort
like a Madagascar solution, some kind of island,
right? Or heck, I've watched enough sailing videos. Why not just go from like island to island, enjoying your sailing life?
Yeah, there'd be a way to find joy.
Like it's a TV show, so if they ever were to allow human ingenuity to fix the zombie problem, they couldn't continue the show. But human ingenuity would fix the zombie problem right away. It's a silly premise to begin with. We could just dig holes and put spikes in them and throw speakers in there, and like no more zombies after a while. They'd all just be spiked, and if the hole filled up, we'd burn them all up.
There'd be a risk because everyone that dies becomes a zombie in The Walking Dead. So there's a resupply. It seems is always someone going to die, but they'd probably manage that. There'd be a protocol that people agree to.
We all need we just need Apple Watches. We need to get notified when Biden bites the dust, so that we can go in there and get rid of it.
You'd have like an elderly section of the village. Actually,
but you could have
that wouldn't last long at all. One elderly person dies, and then it's just a clean slate every
now
time.
You've got 19 elderly zombies to deal with. I'm not sure an elderly zombie is less dangerous than a normal one.
No, they creep up on you.
There's super
fight you with their zombie mouth.
Like, is their strength related to their normal strength? I don't know.
I'd be more scared of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger zombie than a fucking Chris Christie zombie.
A muscular zombie.
I wouldn't want to tussle with either one. All they got to do is
zombie with a helmet.
Chris Christie is a zombie. He knows how to bite.
Zombie with a helmet is a problem. Yeah. That'd be a real problem. Zombie with a helmet, like a military helmet, especially like if he could take some pistol bullets.
Plants vs Zombies. That's one of the most feared enemies. The zombies.
The helmeted zombie
with the bucket. Straightforward. Like I like psychological thrillers. Any like horror's good, but like a good thriller, and it seems like that's the rarest kind of movie to be done really well. Like Silence of the Lambs, something like that. That's just fucking excellent. There aren't.
I really appreciate like good sci-fi. Like if they can build a world that's different somehow, and even if they're doing like this small little mission and it's contained in this room or on this ship that's going to a place, I really dig that. But yeah, psychological stuff and horror. Anytime there's an actually good horror movie, it's like today's a good day.
Saw one.
Yeah, sure. Or the Conjuring, I think is tremendous. It's probably my favorite horror movie. I mean, I really like The Exorcist, but that's a 50-something-year-old movie or something.
Yeah.
Conjuring. My son just watched all the Saws. Now, not every night, 6 nights a week, he watches a movie.
Jeez.
And he comes down and says, Dad, I watched a movie. And I say, verbatim, you watched a movie? How cool. What movie did you watch? He gives me the title. And then I say, what year did that come out? And he tells me what year. I might ask a question about the genre or something, and then I guess how long it is. The thing is, he's like, what movie did you watch? Saw. What movie did you watch? Saw 2. What do you watch? Saw 3. Now I'm catching on to the pattern. Yeah. So I'll like look up in advance how long Saw 4 is. I mean, like, is that 1 hour, 33 minutes? That's right. Like, who knew?
Oh, it's out in the dark here, 89 minutes.
I really like that.
Good at this.
I thought that Barbarian movie was tremendous. I like something that's got a twist.
Yeah, that was good.
The problem with Shyamalan movies is it's a Shyamalan movie. It's like he shouldn't use his name in the promotion for films. Like if you're going to be this guy who, I'm thinking of something like The Village, where you went in like, what's the twist? And instead of sitting back that's a hated
The Village
movie.
is a terrible movie.
Everybody seems to hate it, but if you look at the cast, it's so good.
Day Common Con got like, this is the next Night Shyamalan.
Well, see, in that he made one great movie and then petered off.
One?
Well,
I think
had that with Steven.
Signs and Dead. I See Dead People Help Me. The real title.
Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah,
Sixth Sense.
Okay, those are both good. Sixth Sense was much better than Signs. I think.
I would
People
rather
say
watch
that. I like them
Signs.
both, but
I would rather watch Signs than Sixth Sense if I was going to watch one, though, because I did that last week and I watched Signs maybe 2 weeks ago now. I watched all of his movies. I watched Lady in the Water. I watched The Village. I watched all of that shit.
I watched Old.
I saw Old, and I saw fucking The Happening. The Happening was when I got let down. That was the one, because I was
had
like,
really
okay.
cool trailers. I remember.
I don't really remember the order, but if I had seen Lady in the Water, I like Paul Giamatti's, and it was a kind of a little fairy tale in an apartment building, and it was like, this is neat. This is a fun little fun movie. And then what was the other one he did? But when The Happening came out with Mark Wahlberg, and that it was just garbage. It's a genuinely trash movie. There's no redeeming qualities from that movie. It's almost never scary until the very end and it's not scary at the end because of The Happening, which is, spoiler for the worst Shyamalan movie ever. The trees are releasing pollen or pheromones that trigger something in human brains that send us into this suicidal rage pattern. And everybody just starts killing themselves out of nowhere in the most absurd, non-effective, sometimes comical or juxtapositional ways. Like people laying down in front of lawnmowers, and the zookeeper just happened to have a lion handy, so he's just feeding the lion his arm. And that's what the promotional material was. It was these people were going about their day, maybe at an outdoor cafe or something, just, ooh, Brian got into 3rd grade honors, and then suddenly a body falls, and they're like, oh my God, someone jumped. And then another one, and then another, and because like tons of people are suiciding off the building. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck? And then they show like some quick clips of the lawnmower mowing the guy or the lion eating the person. You're like, what the fuck is this movie? It's trees. It's trees making people silly. But don't worry, it'll stop at the end when Mark Wahlberg's done.
Yeah.
And Marky Mark's a terrible actor. Like, he's a terrible actor.
Did you see him in his recent Netflix show? I forget what it was called. He played like an assassin whose family didn't know he was an assassin.
No.
Oh. I watched it with Jackie. It was fun, but not good.
What, isn't he in The Other Guys with Will Ferrell?
Yeah,
that was a super funny movie. He's
in Ted too. Like he can do that. That's his best character, because I think that character is closer to like who he is, just sort of a douchebaggy, funny kind of ish guy. Like I think he's good in Ted. I liked him in Ted a lot, and I liked him in The Other Guys. I really like The Other Guys. I think it's funny.
Yeah, The Other Guys is super funny. Wait, that is the one where it starts where The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson are like, aim for the bushes. And then they
aim for the bushes. And they just hit the concrete.
We don't know what they were thinking. It was a 65-story building. Yeah, that was a super good movie. I remember getting some out loud laughs at that. Yeah, where Will Ferrell's like shitty to his unbelievably hot wife.
Eva Mendes.
He's like, you come out here dressed like a plain Jane, and when I've got company over, and she's just a bombshell. And he's that's so funny.
Kenny Powers did that too. Kyle, you saw that movie or TV show? Yeah,
I saw all of it.
He's pounding down.
He wanted her to like, I don't know. They were like, we're going out. I want you to dress nice, and she's in this like glittery thing, and she looks like $1 million. And he's like, you know, you look okay, but you dress like a whore.
But she was dressed like a whore. You're misremembering. She's dressed like white trash whore.
I saw it today, and that's my style.
I saw it today.
It is. I mean, well, Amazon
she looks like a disco ball that I want to fuck.
Yes. No,
I need to watch the rest of that show. I watched like the whole first season, and I thought it was very funny. And then I must have like not had HBO after the first season for a while, because that's probably 10 years ago now.
It peters off a little bit.
It's fine.
But I think that his pathetic sidekick, whatever that guy's name is,
the guy with the goofball who kind of talks funny,
he comes into his own in season 2. It's either 2 or 3. Kenny flees to Mexico and starts pitching in a Mexican league and actually does okay. and but the other guy marries this morbidly obese Mexican woman, and their relationship is fucking hilarious. Oh, he also gets cornrows, which is pretty funny too. I think they both get cornrows, and they're fighting cocks. That's like their side gig, and they get robbed by Mexican midget gangsters. Yeah, it's an interesting, it's a fun
to watch the rest of that series before Terminator or Terminator 2.
I was gonna send you the Blu-ray too. I've got it.
I watched that movie that you sent me. Leaving Las Vegas, not leaving Las Vegas.
LA Confidential.
LA Confidential. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
And I liked that a lot. I still have it. It's one of the only Blu-rays I own.
It's tremendous.
What's your Blu-ray player?
I used my Xbox, like the Xbox One, the black one that's like vertical.
Series
X. I don't
X.
think they come with a disc player anymore.
Oh well, I
I'm
think
not
it
sure,
did,
though.
'cause I don't know what else I would have played it on.
You might not have the most recent one, or I'm wrong, which could be.
I've got a PlayStation 5 and Series X, so one of them definitely plays Blu-rays.
Yeah, I definitely don't. My Xbox.
I don't operate the discs. I've got someone for that.
You don't know how to operate the disc?
You train your dog.
Yeah. Toby can.
Zach says you can get them with and without the disc, so maybe I don't have the disc. That's why I think that. Okay.
Yeah, I think those consoles have always been pretty good Blu-ray players. Back to when PlayStation destroyed when they stuck a damn Blu-ray player in that PlayStation 3. That was such a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Having PlayStation 2 be a DVD player was an awesome idea.
Xbox 360 was too, though. Wasn't that the same gen?
No.
Or was it 360 and PS3 the same gen?
Originally, Xbox 360 couldn't.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. Didn't it play that other one, like the HD DVD or something?
They would have played both, right? I remember HD DVD and like not knowing which was going to win and not buying.
Neither of them. Torrenting one again.
No, if you want the highest quality visuals, you'll still have a Blu-ray.
Do you think you'll like that Kevin Costner movie while we're talking about movies? You don't think you'll? I thought you might like because
So if you want a good movie reviewer, I think he's kind of on the same wavelength and he's fun too. It's Critical Drinker. He's also a bit political. He goes on Piers Morgan and stuff and talks about the woke Disney stuff. I think he described it as that it bounced around to quite a few characters and it made it sound like it was a bit disjointed and you weren't getting enough of what you wanted and far too much of characters and situations you didn't care about. And I don't know. I'll watch it. I'll give it a try, I guess. But his if you go back to his Wyatt Earp movie, I don't know if you ever saw that. It came out the same year as Tombstone. I
saw it. It's been a while.
It's a little dry, because Kevin Costner's a little dry. He doesn't have a sense of humor. Kevin Costner's never cracked a joke, not a real one. Like he might have been, if anything, his sort of like lack of a sense of humor is the joke. Like his sort of. The fact that he often plays someone who's socially retarded, for lack of a better term, like someone who's been out too long. If you think about Waterworld, or if you think about Postman, or even if you think about Open Range, it's this guy who's been out there too long. He's not used to being in town, and he's going to be sort of awkward and weird about it.
Patience for people is it Yellowstone, the TV show? Yeah.
I quit watching that like a couple years ago. I'm sure there's still some good Yellowstone to watch, but I don't know.
Make it to the end?
I didn't make it anywhere near the end. I'm probably missing. I didn't know it was ended. I'm missing quite a bit. I liked it for a while and I lost interest.
It's been a couple of years, and there's supposed to be one more season that wraps up the story, but they just can't seem to get that done.
Yeah, I heard. I know Kevin Costner's done according to him. So
that's come and gone. It's currently gone, so you're right. But
yeah.
But
yeah, the Long Legs movie is the only thing on the horizon as far as movies that I'm like hyped for. I'm tempted to go to the movies and watch it. It looks really interesting. They have a fun marketing campaign, and you never know how much of it's fabricated or nonsense or whatever. But it starts, and it's like the first time that the actress who plays Michelle or whatever, doesn't matter, saw Nick Cage in his Daddy Long Legs like outfit or whatever. Her heart rate hit 170 beats per minute, and it's like, that's kind of cool if that's true at all. I like that. That kind of tells me that it's shocking and fucking scary. And again, I've tried to avoid any sort of spoilers at all, but it looks like maybe he's a giant spider monster or some shit.
So you don't know anything about this show, Daddy Long?
No, I have no idea. It's a movie that's like out now, I believe. I'm looking, but it's what I want to see the most. I like Nicolas Cage when he's used correctly. I always say he's a good actor, but he's got to be applied correctly. He's not the guy you'd want to like play the president in your movie in like a historical drama or something. But if you need a loon or a wacky, goofy monster or someone who's supposed to be like out there, he's perfect. He's ready made. He doesn't even have to act.
Are you sure it's called Daddy Longlegs?
Maybe Long Legs. Maybe just Long Legs.
It is Long Legs. Okay. You might like it. This is a non-spoiler. I can read it. Everything about Long Legs is designed to rattle you, unsettle you, and make you think about it for hours and days later.
Me, Woody, and Chiz went and did Rapids, and quote unquote Rapids. And I was disappointed by the Rapids. I had a great time that day, but it wasn't because of the intensity of the Rapids. I had fun because of the company of my friends and the environment and everything. I would like more rapid Rapids.
I remember there being one or two good fun Rapids. One Chiz fell out of the boat. Do you remember that? And then the problem was like the next 5 hours was lame. Like
Zach, pull up Burt Reynolds. Pull up Burt Reynolds in Deliverance. Show me that outfit he's wearing. That's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm wearing next time if we go rafting. Burt Reynolds and Deliverance. Show me his fucking cool ass outfit.
And I'll dress up as the guy that gets raped.
Ned Beatty. You're the Ned Beatty. and what is John Foyt? It works. Oh my God.
No, I want to be that kid who I really thought was playing the banjo until you corrected me.
That guy looks good.
No, I changed my mind.
I know. He's a solid action star. This is a nice pre-steroid action star vibe.
He's got the bicep vein popping. No,
in the 70s. That's a huge guy.
When he's a big guy. Anyway, right off the bat, if you've never seen Deliverance, if you haven't watched it yet, you need me to give you a little teaser so that you go watch this masterpiece of a movie. This happens in Georgia. These Atlanta boys go rafting. Ned Beatty, John Voight, and Burt Reynolds here. And Burt Reynolds like the alpha of the group, clearly. So they take him out of the picture right away as a physical threat. And then hillbillies fall upon them and rape Ned Beatty in the ass right away. And it's your character, Taylor. You get raped right in the ass right away.
I picked him. I know.
Yeah. And there's the hillbilly. The hillbilly goes, now get them panties off. And I remember watching that at 13, and my heart was pounding with fear for Ned Beatty. You could take Bird off.
I expected him to be rescued or saved. Right? They're like, there's a rape scene coming. Nick of time. I've watched plenty of movies. I know how this goes. He will be saved in the nick of time. And then he wasn't. He got raped by another guy. Yeah. And I'm like, this is all like in my head. I feel like this is insensitive to say, but I'm like, he's been raped. That always happened to him. Like we can't undo it. We you
can't unfuck that hole.
It's not like a gunshot wound that'll heal up in a movie.
No,
right? It's a mental wound. I just felt like, oh shit.
From this point forward, you will always have been a guy with a dick in his ass that he didn't want there.
And all his friends saw it. All his friends were. They responded, I think, as well as somebody could. They didn't they were all
they didn't laugh or anything. And they didn't laugh. They pulled their dick out.
They gave him the sympathy and empathy that he deserved. Like they were good friends, but
sorry. And I think that's to go further into the plot because it's a cool movie. They kill the hillbilly there and the raper. I believe. I think they got the one that raped him, and the other one runs off anyway. But they're trying to say what to do with the body, right? And it's when Ned Beatty steps up, and he's like, "Fellas, I don't know if I want any of this getting out. Maybe we keep this a little quiet." That everybody's like, "Yeah, I could see why you'd maybe want to keep this one quiet, Ned. Maybe we do just hide this body here and raft on back to Atlanta."
Team Ned there.
Here. Yeah, like you could see yourself it going down that way. Like I don't want everybody to know Taylor got raped by that hillbilly.
No. Well, then don't bring it up.
Well, that's like kind of like that's like the same thing at the end of Pulp Fiction, kind of, right? End of, middle of.
Oh yeah. I do know the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like, get the fuck out. Don't tell shit.
What happens from here?
Are you okay?
Next,
I'm
me and
pretty
a couple of
pretty fucking far from
yeah. Where are we now? What are we here? What happens from here is me and a couple pipe wielding motherfuckers.
I know.
Go ahead.
No,
I'll probably get it right.
Well, I'm gonna get.
Well, you can't get it right all the way.
I'm gonna get about 5 pop banging ninjas with a pair of pliers and a blowtorch. To go to work on the homes here. You hear me talking, hillbilly boy? I'm gonna get medieval on your ass. And the guy on the ground goes.
What did he say to Bruce Willis at the end?
Nah, I mean, what now between me and you? Oh, that what now? And he's like, there is no me and you. I know all the rest of this scene. Let's just stop.
Me and you. That's such a great movie.
That's a great movie. It's time for a rewatch. It's been a while.
Would you say that's Tarantino's best?
No, Reservoir Dogs is his best.
Hoping you'd say that. Obviously the best.
Pulp Fiction's his best movie, but Reservoir Dogs is his best story. I like that little self-contained jewelry heist thing. It's a complete ripoff of an Asian film, by the way, 100%. He took his whole movie from like one aspect. He does that with everything. Everything he's done is stolen, and then he twisted it and made it fucking cool, snappy dialogue, and like wild ass visuals. And that's what Tarantino does.
That's fine.
I like
Pepsi
Reservoir
isn't
Dogs a lot.
stolen.
I watched Reservoir Dogs last week, and I love it. Tim Roth is like steals the show for me. All bloody and like
not Michael Madsen.
Madsen is just Madsen. That's his fucking personality.
When he's dancing around that room and talking into that ear, that's such a great fucking scene.
He's got that fucking straight razor. Anytime that song comes on, I do Michael Madsen's dance.
I guess is cannibal like he could find a dead guy and eat him. It doesn't mean he killed someone, right?
Well, that's a good point.
You just eat.
Yeah, but nobody wants like human roadkill.
I mean, if we don't know the mind of this maniac.
I like to imagine my father's not a maniac. He's one of those like thoughtful cannibals, right?
He's a gourmet cannibal.
Yeah. Like he's just like
a Hannibal Lecter.
Well, sure, okay.
But without the murder. And no, Hannibal Lecter is about who he. Yeah. What if you're like a really health conscious cannibal?
I only eat healthy people.
Yeah, you only hang out outside CrossFit meets.
That's the Netflix thing. The Santa Clarita Diet, I think.
Yeah.
I scrolled past that. I've never watched it though.
I've seen it.
I think it's something like that.
Is it
Health Conscious Cannibals?
Is it good? Or no, not really.
I haven't watched it.
Oh,
I can recommend a movie if you want a movie.
Yeah,
it's not about being health conscious.
Is it spooky?
It's about a killer pair of jeans.
Okay. What is it called?
It's on Shudder. It's called Slacks. It's literally about a killer pair of jeans. And I thought it was amazing because it was mostly just about, it just made me feel dirty as a person because it was all about like how stuff is manufactured overseas to no standards. And there's like dead people that get smushed into the cotton and then woven into the fibers. And they like take a giant shit on retail and corporate culture. It's like watching a giant RoboCop commercial, like with all those old Paul Verhoeven ads.
This is the exact kind of stupid horror that I like. And I still have Shudder. Like I should have like stopped paying for Shudder November of last year because they don't put anything out, or if they do, it's just like rehosted nonsense that's already available everywhere else. But this is probably the only time of year it's good.
Oh wait, you've got drugs, right? So do that and watch Blood Machines. Also very fun.
Blood Machines. I'll do drugs and watch Blood Machines if it looks good. Let's see. Oh, there's a lady. What is it? Her tits are out.
It's like a spacey sort of satanic music video that goes on for about an hour. Lots of naked women, people dying, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, so it's not like a movie, like a big...
No, it's like an hour-long music video, but it's fantastic when you're high. You'll just lay there and be like, "I'm in space."
I'll give that a go. So, like, the most recent one like that I can think of is Mandy was trippy. Stone.
Mandy's great. We watched Mandy in Colorado last week.
It's a good movie.
Really good.
Nicolas Cage, there's something about that guy, like the way he doesn't care that he's not doing a good job. Yeah, it endears me to him. But he has done a good job before. Leaving Las Vegas, he played that tremendously. He did a great job. I think
he often does his version of a good job. Like I think he's trying. It's that what he's trying to do is very different than what you're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's just being weird. I think he's like got a goal, like a point to like his acting. I think there's a method to the madness, and it just comes off as really weird because it is, because he's really weird.
There was this
I liked Mandy a lot, and like I'm not exactly sure the name. It's either Willy's Wonderland or Wally's Wonderland.
Willy's. Yeah.
I liked that. I think it got really bad ratings, and to be fair, it's a really bad movie. I hated the teenagers. Like all those characters were terrible actors. Nicolas Cage never says a word the entire movie. He grunts a little occasionally, but I don't know, for like a little 90-minute silly movie, it was good. I enjoyed it. He fights animatronics with his bare hands.
Taylor, do you think Nicolas Cage did good in Mandy, or did he phone it in Mandy?
I mean, I think he did a good job. Maybe it's me enjoying the movie bleeding over into thinking he did a better job, but no, watching him do Mandy, I never jumped out. That's the one where he's like in the bathroom, like chugging vodka, screaming. Like, I thought he did a pretty good job in that movie.
Yeah.
Did you not like him in that?
No, I thought he did great. That was the only movie where it looked like the camera operator got nervous. Like you can see them like panning in, and Nicholas starts wilding out, and you can see them kind of like shake and like maybe move it back a little bit to be safe from him. And that
they don't know what he's going to do.
Well,
yeah. I've heard this spoken about before. They weren't afraid of him because he's Nicolas Cage. That's pretty scary, but for different reasons. But they didn't know what he was going to do, so they didn't know how to frame the shot. And he's being really dynamic. Like he's moving around and he's standing up and sitting down and he's being crazy with that bottle and screaming and shit. So like they literally don't know how to frame the shot because it's not like storyboarded. There was someone just wrote on a piece of paper, Nicholas has a bad time in the bathroom.
And he just
goes in there and has a bad time in the bathroom. No, I dig that movie a lot. It's better with drugs for sure. Dark room, lots of drugs, and it's a really good fucking movie.
I don't like the first half. That part's really kind of hard to swallow. The trippy stuff at the end is way more fun, in my opinion.
I like the full trip. I like the stuff at the beginning. I feel like it's really soothing.
The very beginning.
The whole thing, man. When they're flying over those trees at the very beginning with the helicopter shots.
Yeah. I'm talking about the horrible Manson family.
When Manny's walking down that foggy like path. When she's talking about we were talking about their favorite planets and they're like getting these psychedelic sort of visuals. All that shit's cool.
I'm in total agreement. If you like that, I know films from the same director that does similar things. So,
oh yeah, I think I was looking into like what else he had done, and it was.
What are some good ones you'd recommend from that guy?
Beyond the Black Rainbow. It is way more artsy than Mandy, with way less spoken words. It's going to feel a little bit more like a college art film, but it's probably a much better movie. And he also did some consulting on a movie called The Void, which is
I love The Void.
I've seen The Void. I like that.
Yeah. The first 45 minutes is not so hot, but man, that end goes so far off the fucking rails. It redeems all the rest of it.
Yeah, I love anything that's what's the fucking writer? The Cthulhu guy.
Lovecraftian.
Lovecraft.
I love anything with like any Lovecraftian elements. So I really like The Void. That's fucking cool.
I wish they would make. I mean, I guess they've already made multiple, but like, was it Sinister or Insidious, the one where they're watching those tapes of people die? Whichever one of those two it was.
I get them mixed up as well.
They made like 3 of them.
But I think you're talking about the one with the Bagul.
I think so. The one where like he watches the beginning of the movie is like all the people strung up, like hanged, and then like the guy cuts off the limb on the tree and it like counterweights it, and then they all go up like kicking and like dying in slow motion. And they see lots of horrific videos. That really spooked me. I liked that movie a lot. So I hope they make. I could see it's like a rinse and repeat kind of thing with that formula. They could make another one.
I like they did. They made several of them.
I mean, on top of that, yeah.
So I haven't seen a good horror movie in a while. We watched a bunch of old shit when we were in Colorado. Like a lot of old shit. I watched a bunch of
old stuff.
Like Friday the 13th and Halloween's and a couple of Nightmare on Elm Street that I had never seen before. Like a bunch of that old stuff. And
Candyman, Hellraiser.
Oh, and I watched Samurai Cop for the first time ever.
Oh that God,
was fucking great.
You recommended that? Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Big time. Don't do it sober. Don't do it sober.
Not an issue.
But watch Samurai Cop if you're out there listening to this. I think I actually watched it for free with ads. This is a movie like I didn't mind ads because like in the like 45-second ad break, we like look at each other like, what are we watching? Like, what the fuck is this?
It's cool. Yeah. That's purportedly, I haven't seen it, but I'll watch it.
It's really bad. But
this is the time of year every year that I rewatch The Thing for like the millionth time. That's got to be like one of my top 3 favorite movies of any genre. The Thing. It's just so good.
It's really high up there for me too. You know, it's a formula that's been copied a bunch of times over. They even made an X-Files episode that was like a copy of, you know, the paranoia of being stuck up there and not knowing friend from foe after a certain point, and the group keeps getting smaller and smaller, and the whole paranoia thing is really interesting. That you know, they're worried about the monster that's outside, but maybe the monster within, right? It's kind of like those old Twilight Zone episodes to some extent. But it's really good. It's John Carpenter's best movie, I think, because I hate
better than Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, that's a movie he made. It's I like it. I don't love it. It would be in my top 5 from John Carpenter. But I like Escape from New York. I hate Escape from LA. I'm not going to rank all the movies. Red Letter Media just did a thing where they ranked.
I literally just watched all of that.
Really
but
good.
Now, The Thing is probably the most universally recognized as his best work. It's very, as the Red Letter Media guys say, it's a perfectly constructed film.
Yeah, I like it. Kurt Russell makes the movie, though. He's my favorite part of it. It's fucking great. It would make a good video game, I think. Did they ever make a Thing video game?
They did. It was not very good. It came out like very early into PlayStation 2 when they hadn't figured out like how first-person controls should work. So navigating your character was kind of like an N64 nightmare on a PlayStation controller. And it had this thing where you could test people to see if they were the Thing, except it didn't actually work because whoever the Thing was part of the story. So that part stunk. There's a prequel, it's all right, but the if you're into the Thing, there's a short story. I think it's like a fan fiction, but it's written from the point of view of the Thing. Super fun to read.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And it is like is Skinwalker, is that the right thing? Like a or Wendigo, like some like spirit that takes over and like looks like people.
It's like an alien that like if you get like just a little bit of it on you or in you, it'll start multiplying, it'll copy your DNA and take all of you over, but it retains all of its old information and knowledge. So you're dead, it's replaced you. And it can instantly split and morph into any of tens of thousands of other aliens that it's eaten over the centuries or aeons or whatever.
You didn't see the part at the beginning where like the alien spaceship crashes into Antarctica?
No, yes. I wasn't talking about the Thing specifically. I was meaning like how those movies like if you read like paranormal forums and stuff, they're always talking like skinwalkers, like creatures that become people and then they infiltrate groups. And so it's like I wouldn't call it a trope, but it's like
I can't remember who it is, but there's a famous musician who believes in skinwalkers. And he was telling a story on Howard Stern. I wish I could remember who it was because it's like a notable musician who you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. But he said that he watched one like mid-transformation, changing from
into
like
what?
I can't remember exactly what it was, but like it was something absurd, of course, you know, like from a man into like a wolf or something.
So a werewolf, maybe.
or you know, into an ostrich, whatever the fuck he saw. I can't recall exactly what it was, but like
I feel like that would drive me fucking crazy. I'd lose my mind if I saw something like that. Drive faster.
I don't know if this is just
you've seen some stuff that I would already think I'd lost my mind. Like you're seeing dark people and shadow realms and demons, and
I've never seen the realm, just the people.
He's just.
Have you watched any of that SCP Foundation stuff that I told you about?
Not yet, no.
I highly recommend it. So basically the SCP Foundation, it's this like stuff it comes from the internet, and basically it's like crowdsourced horror stories surrounding the idea is the SCP Foundation is this organization that since like the early 1900s has been working to capture and control like monsters and ghouls and goblins around the world and keep not only people safe from them, but the knowledge of them hidden. And it's everything from like Bigfoot to like the Loch Ness Monster and like enormous like sea creatures that are thousands of kilometers long to I think one of them was literally like a giant Care Bear that hugged people to death, but also like all sorts of like gods and aliens
and there are these really interesting stories for each one of them, and some of them are really long and intricate and complex. And I think that someone told me that there's a website where you can go and you can write a new one, and you can be like, hey, here's my new this is SCP-3774. It's the Taylor monster. He bites people's heads off. Yeah. And like if your story is good enough, like they'll add it to like the canon. But I've been watching it on YouTube, where like this YouTube channel has like animated tons and tons of them. Yeah. And so I just like, when I'm trying to like go to sleep in my like stupor of sickness, I've got these playing, and I'm having like the most fucked up dreams. Some of them are like just kind of like normal monster stories, but some of them are really dark. Some of them are really dark and fucked up. I don't know. I've probably listened to like 60, 70 of them at least at this point. And some of them would make really good movies. Like one of them was about this like lake of blood that that monsters kept coming out of. And so eventually they took a submersible down into the lake of blood to see what was down there. And after a while, they stopped going down and started going up again. And they realized that like gravity had inverted, and now they were rising instead of falling. And when they get to the surface, they're on another dimension, on another planet. And they like explore the other planet for like days at a time. And it gets like super wacky and wild. Yeah, I thought that one was interesting. That was one of my favorite ones.
What was if you were to recommend one, what was one that stood out to you?
Shit. I don't know. Let's see.
Must be hard if you're listening to them while you're sleeping, just getting fucked up dreams. I'm on their channel right now. There's a ton of these. Most of them are around like 15 minutes or so, it looks like.
Yeah, most of them are. There are some really long ones. They're like an hour long that like explore the whole Foundation and the history of the Foundation and the stuff they've done. Oh, the Scarlet King is one of the like the bigger ones. The Scarlet King is like this demon god that has a whole cult behind it. So that one's pretty wild. I don't know. There's one for like everything. The one about the Bigfoot was pretty interesting because it was like a complete twist on what you would think it would be. Apparently, like we used to live side by side with the Sasquatches, and they were more technologically advanced than us. And we had like a war with them. And
that's a cool twist. I like that.
Yeah. We had like a war with them and like killed them all and took their technology for our own. And now they like live in the shadows forever hating. And there's a part at the end where like the last time they spoke to the Sasquatches, they had a message and it said, "We forgive you and we want to come home." And it was like, oh, that's kind of fucked up. There's a bunch of them. It's like I said, it's everything from like, because it's just written by people, like some of them will be like a hat that just kills people, like a demonic hat. Or one of them was like a door-to-door salesman, but he doesn't knock on your exterior door. He starts knocking from one of your interior doors. And when you open the interior door, he starts trying to sell you something ridiculous. And if you agree, and it's like one of those devil's bargains where like you never know like what he's actually offering to sell you and what he's actually telling you it costs. So like he might take your heart and your entire circulatory system when what he said was he just needed a little heart, or I can't remember what it was, but like he phrases things in a confusing way. And like he might just he might kill you as payment, or he might just like one of them was they wanted the person's soul in exchange for something, but they just took their soul record collection instead because he thought that was funny. Like it's just bizarre. They're always very bizarre and weird because it's fucking.
I like that.
The internet who write these things.
I like that.
But I've been really into it for like the last week, I guess. I've been watching and listening to them.
I love horror content, so this is good stuff. I need to watch some. I just subscribed to their channel.
Some of them are actually pretty dark. It's the SCP Explained channel is the main one I've been watching, but then there's another channel called the Exploring series that features SCP content as well.
And what does it stand for? SCP?
Oh shit!
Scary.
What is this? I'll find out.
I just went to their channel to try and find out, and I don't know what SCP stands for.
Secure, contain, and protect.
Secure, contain, protect. Okay, makes kind of a little sense.
Yeah. So they're like, I don't know. There's a lot of them, and they're most of them are pretty interesting. Like, I didn't realize it was like crowdsourced until I was like halfway through my journey watching these things. Do you want to talk about Midnight Mass a little?
Yes, I do.
I love that show.
You like it? We all finished.
Yeah, I finally watched a show.
Midnight Mass was fucking fantastic. The guy who plays the priest is just every scene he's in, the other actors have to be upset because he dominates the scene. Like he makes everybody else's actor, talents diminish every time.
I just realized that I'm talking about Midnight Gospel, the cartoon.
God damn you. All right. Well, look, for those of you who don't listen to PKA, first of all, shame on you.
I was talking about Midnight Rider, the Western. I thought I was finally part.
I was talking about Midnight Cowboy, the 70s movie.
Yeah, when he dies of AIDS. Yeah, I thought that's why you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No, Midnight Mass, it's a Netflix show, and it's very, very good. It's a bit of a vampire tale. It's a bit of that, but it's very, very good. Everyone, you look it up online, and that's the first thing in the fucking review.
My recommendation is this for this show: go in blind, because it is a mystery.
I was until now.
I know, right? Jesus Christ! If you go in blind, you won't know what the fuck's going on. Like, we're gonna put a spoiler tag in now. You've ruined it. You've ruined it for so many thousands, tens of thousands, and they put you in the jizz.
Hundreds of thousands,
and they put you in the jizz biz.
I give it fucking 2 thumbs up, and I really enjoyed it. I watched it in one sitting, 7 hours worth. I will say this: if you're not convinced by us, like RLM did a review, Red Letter Media, they really enjoyed it as well. I watched 2 minutes of their review and then immediately went to Netflix and watched 7 hours of this show. Like whenever they tell me to watch something, I do. There was a horror movie a while back, like the Black Coat's Daughter or something like that. They were also right about that was really good. But in any case, this is a really fucking good TV show. There is a lot of talking. There is a lot of character development. There is a little CGI that works out really well. They use it sparingly. It takes you a while to figure out what's going on. I want to say about 15 minutes into episode 2, I had figured out most of the story, and I knew exactly what was going on by like episode 4. I was like, oh no, I know.
I'm mostly done episode 2, and I don't know shit. It's apparently a TV show about dead cats.
Nope, there's a lot more than that. I was like, more than that. I was super like when Kyle he recommended it to us.
Mostly joking.
I know. When he was like,
there are dead cats.
I was like, in our private text, Kyle, because you were like, if anybody thinks they know what's going on, just text me privately, and I sent stuff to you, and you figured it out so fucking quickly that I was like, I felt like a challenge was issued where I'm like, all right. By the end of episode 3, I need to have this figured out. And I thought I had it mostly figured out by episode 3. And I texted Kyle my predictions, and he was like, spot on, my friend, spot on. And I was like, he would never say that if it was correct. So obviously I missed something here. And I did miss a couple things, but it's really, really a good show. Midnight Mass. I like it a lot. I don't know what the actor's name is who plays the priest.
Don't either.
I don't think he doesn't look familiar to me with his face and anything, but he's tremendous. I hope he gets more work because
I do too.
Are we supposed to hate the chick that criticizes the priest?
Yes. Or wait, which one?
Well, then I'm on the right track.
The white lady who's very churchy.
I don't think there's any black people in this show.
No, there are. Maybe you haven't watched far enough, but
maybe. She's very churchy. She criticized his choice of gold outfit.
Oh, that wasn't she wasn't criticizing. She was like curious, like, and see, that's a clue in itself. See, I caught that clue. That's one I caught. Oh, did you catch it too?
I did, but only because I have Catholic family, so I know.
Yeah, so like you wear different colors on different days, just like, and I'm not a Catholic, but they lay it out there. Like I want to say you wear the gold one on like feast day, and the green one was the one that was more appropriate for
that's
whatever
ordinary
day it was.
time.
Yeah, for ordinary. So I found that very interesting, and that I read a lot into him wearing that because he didn't seem like the type of man. But I knew two things at that point anyway. I knew who the priest was, and I knew that he's not the type of man to not know what fucking color shirt to wear. And so those two things added together led me to like go down that rabbit hole that got me to like solving the whole mystery of the show in like 2 episodes. It's a good fucking show. It's not a fucking challenge. It's TV meant to be enjoyed, but I highly recommend it. There's a mystery going on. There's some neat characters. It reminds me so much of something that Stephen King wrote. I had to do a double check. I was like, Stephen King wrote this, right? They did Stephen King better than Stephen King does Stephen King. Like you even have like the inciting incident with a Volkswagen involved right there at the beginning, and the character haunted by the flashbacks with a little bit of ghost stuff going on. And it's like, man, this is Stephen King beat for beat, but it's not. And then you also have like the core concept of the show that I won't spoil too much. That's another Stephen King. He loves that shit. He loves that specific subject matter. All the stuff about loss and regret, family, groupthink, the way that religion can twist people's minds, perception-based information. You know, the way that like think about how those first cavemen were down here. They've got their fire at night. Other caveman has his fire at night, and they look in the sky and they say, "Wow, who builds their campfires up there? Who are those people?" And you know that sort of mindset. Like they had this. Okay, lights are campfires. There are lights. Lights must be campfires.
Yeah.
Well, they put things together that way because it was what they knew. They had this framework, and they plugged in outside information into the framework they understood, and they end up with a flawed understanding of reality. And you see that concept repeated later on, and it's a really, really smart, well written, well directed, all the way around. Enjoyed it kind of show.
Well acted. Like there were so many characters. Like Woody, you said there weren't any black characters. The black girl in the wheelchair. She's a very big.
He's a halvesy.
And I like her a lot. She's a very good actress. I like her. But the priest stole the fucking show. He stole the show in most episodes.
Well, Midnight Gospel is pretty good. It's about
what's that about?
I don't know about that.
It's about a podcast that gets animated. I don't know if you guys know anything about that.
No.
But it's a good. It's a good
it's
show.
Really not our subject matter expertise.
It is about that, but it's really good. You should check it out.
I got a couple of those. I got a couple of those animated stories. You should do. We should do something with them.
You should.
We should upload them or something. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what. Maybe we just watch them on the show. I don't
raise
know.
some money for it. Or something.
Yeah. Let's sell them.
Yeah.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I think it would be just paranormal videos. Is that what it is? Is that the movie series where barely anything happens, but like a hose moves and you know that it's a bad thing?
Yeah, that was the one where like it's like
Paranormal Activity.
Documentary style.
Yeah. Paranormal Activity. Actually, pretty good movie. Like the first time, or maybe even just the first 1 or 2, and then it becomes incredibly boring, just security cam footage. That
Alts. See, you, my friend, did you catch that they're all the same family?
To be honest, I didn't until afterwards. I read about it and like it sort of tied it together and such for me. But I mostly just find it becomes too boring to pay attention to by the 3rd or 4th movie. That would be my hellish entertainment.
I didn't watch enough of those to know it was the same family. I think I only saw the first one.
All right, well, fuck me then. I guess I'm the one who.
No, I think I saw the second one. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen those in forever.
So the one that's in L.A. with some like Mexican guy, that one's fucking stupid. I didn't like that one. The first 2 films, very much connected and scared the shit out of me. I remember being in a hotel room with a girl in L.A. and like being like, "Hey, you want to watch a scary movie?" And she was like, "Yeah, I guess. I don't really like scary movies." I was like, "I don't either. That's why I like watching them." Like let's watch Paranormal Activity 2, I think it was. And I just remember like we're like sitting up in bed and I'm like holding her and she's holding me, and we're just holding each other watching it. And every time like something happens, we're just like, ah! It was like a roller coaster. Those movies are fucking.
But sometimes
scary.
the something that happens is like, did you put the vacuum robot in the pool? No. Did you put the It's in there for some reason. Yeah, a ghost, I guess. I don't know. This is.
Did you put that letter in the mail? No, but it went out. It's like, this is a pretty handy ghost. Like,
I could have sworn I pushed all the chairs into the table, but now one of them is not pushed in.
I don't know. I think the footage, especially in the first one of them asleep, and the door like opens and something like walks in, and then you're like staring at that door, so just staring at the darkness, into the darkness, trying to see what it is, and then you hear like a loud crash, like way downstairs, and then the lady's waking up with bite marks on herself, and they put the baby powder on the floor to see what's walking in the room at night, right? And there's hoof marks in the fucking baby's powder. Then they hear the noise up in the attic. So like when he starts going up into the attic, I'm just like, no, don't go in the no, don't go in the attic. No, don't go. And he just like he's like panning his head super slowly. When you know in real life, you'd be like, like cover 360 degrees in a fraction of a second. Like that fucking scared the shit out of me. That was so fucking scary. I didn't care for that.
I remember.
You're making a good point.
It's probably a couple of years ago now, but the other one you recommended that was really scary, that didn't get me as much as I thought it would, was Babadook.
Babadook scared me so much I had to stop watching. That's one of the few. That's the only scary movie I've ever seen that I my girlfriend and I were both just like, I was like, that's it. We're done. We're fucking done here. She's in bed. The door opens. And it just starts crawling in on the ceiling upside fucking down. And she hides under the covers from it. And it's like right above her bed. And when she pulls the covers down, it like flips and falls right down on her, like face to face. And it's got a terrifying face. I cut it off right there. I turned it off right there. And I know what the Babadook's about. I know the symbolism. I know the meaning of the whole thing and the depression and all that stuff. The monster that was shown on screen fucking scared the fuck out of me.
I'd much rather be depressed than have that thing skittering about on my ceiling.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take depression 1,000 times out of 1,000 than that. Chiz and I watched The Conjuring the other night, and when those little girls are in bed and like something jerks one of them's foot, and she's like, "Stop pulling my foot." She thinks it's her like sister, and then she like sits up and looks over, and the sister's still sound asleep, and she's like looking around. And she like peering into the pitch black darkness, and there's something behind the door, and she's just sobbing. Something's behind the door. Something's behind the door. Oh God, that movie is really fucking scary. The first
I haven't
two
seen that
acts.
one. I've heard it's very scary.
The Conjuring it's not just a good scary movie. It's a great movie. Like if you look at like best horror movies of all time, it'll be in the top 10 list along with like The Exorcist and stuff like that.
Answer me this about it. Is it one of those that is totally high on jump scares?
No.
Or is it one that like cultivates that horrifying like aura that you feel? Because those are the ones like, the creepy feel that permeates everything. Those are the ones that really get you later. Because the pop out ones, you'll go to bed that night and you're like, whatever. Like it was all just like, oh, you startled me. But those creepy ones, like you'll keep thinking about it.
It's very creepy.
I watched Creep 2, Chiz, and Creep 1. Those were very creepy.
The Conjuring builds an absolutely terrifying aura of just helplessness because, like, the dad, who's the guy who plays the dad, Chiz? He's from Band of Brothers. He was not the redheaded guy, but Ron Livingston. Ron Livingston is like the father, the patriarch of the family, like 5 little girls, his wife, and he's a long-haul truck driver. So frequently he has to leave them alone, and it's just the mom to look after the little girls, and then just shit gets scary. Shit gets fucking scary. And you know, there's the team of paranormal investigators who come in, and there's a little bit. All the parts are very well acted. There's some jump scares like there are in every horror movie. Even The Exorcist had a couple of jump scares, like when she's in the attic with the little candle, and the candle like explodes in her hand or whatever. But it definitely earns its scary moments. It's a good movie. The Exorcist is so good. I watched The Exorcist just the other day.
The original one?
Let Jesus fuck you! Let Jesus fuck you!
My son likes scary movies, but he's never seen them. So he goes on YouTube and he watches, I think it's called Death Count. Are you guys familiar with this at all?
It's how many people die in a movie.
Yeah, and I think they might show the deaths or something. Like I'm not parenting very well. I should know what he's watching on YouTube. But yeah, he'll come and he'll be like, Dad, do you like Saw? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen it. It was pretty good. 13 people died in Saw. I'm like, I should be watching what you watch on YouTube more carefully, clearly. But yeah.
Well, it's a good, family-friendly, wholesome channel. How many people died in this horrible... And he's not even getting the build-up to scary movies. He's just getting the brutal part, the climaxes.
Yeah. And I should say, Woody, I'm not sure if you're aware how many Saw movies have been made. Those deaths, I'm out of touch at this point, maybe 7. Those deaths get worse and gorier and more gratuitous as they go. Somehow they got recommended to me just the other day. I was watching Family Guy clips, and all of a sudden it's like, want to watch the laser collar from Saw? Like, yeah? And then it's like, you want to watch the bucket head from Saw? And it's like, no, but yeah.
But I'm going to watch it.
Do you want to watch the piano wires pulling the people's legs apart from... No, I don't. Those are really gory and traumatizing.
They are. The best one of that series is the first one. And I guess I'm making a judgment there because I haven't seen all 7, but I'm going to go out on a limb, and I saw the first 5, I think. And after the first one, they kind of suck. They're just not very good.
They must be in the backpack.
Okay. Or did you like them?
I don't like them. I liked the first one, but it's degenerated into this sort of like
just gore porn,
torture porn. I didn't like Hostel. I didn't like the Emerald. What is it? The Emerald Fury or something like that. What's the one where they're dealing with the natives that are torturing the Green Inferno? If you're a real heartless person who's a glutton for torture porn, watch the Green Inferno.
I haven't even heard of that.
There's one called, is it Brazil or the Hostile?
Hostel.
Yeah. Oh, this is the same guy as Hostel. Eli Roth, I think.
It's Eli Roth.
Is Hostel the one where they it starts off on a vacation, kind of a beach party, and then they find themselves running for their lives?
They're in Europe and they are drugged and kidnapped, and they go to a place where rich people pay to torture people to death.
Yeah.
And they're like secured to a chair with a bunch of implements in the room, and they torture people to death, like slowly for fun.
I know that one. It's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of, it might be called Brazil. They basically they were, I think they find themselves like stranded on a beach. They're on vacation at a beach, and then for whatever reason their ride home isn't there, and they're like, hey, let's just party it up. And by the next morning, people are trying to like harvest them for their liver and things like that, and they escape and they're on the run, and it's pretty good, but pretty scary.
Eli Roth made the Green Inferno, I think, as well as Hostel. He is the Jew Bear from Inglourious Bastards. Yes, the Jew Bear.
The bear
Jew.
Yeah.
Yes.
A Jew bear. That's just a very frugal forest dweller. 2 berries? Not in this climate.
Yeah, Eli Roth is fucked. He's got those black eyes. Oh, he did Cabin Fever too. That's true, Chiz. Yeah. He's
Oh,
in
I've
a lot of
seen that
movies.
one. Yeah, he
that's
seems to really, really like to just push the envelope with gore, which kind of gets tedious after a while,
and hopelessness. Like most stories most stories in media have happy endings, or at least middle of the road endings. But his films are so often like they lead at the end of Cabin Fever, right? You think the one guy's like, I made it. The cops finally show up and he's like, help me, I'm not infected. And they just gun him down. They just gun him down right there, and they burn him up with a flamethrower. They burn the cabin down with a flamethrower, and then the camera pans and we realize that like the whole town's water supply has been infected with the virus. Not only that, but they're bottling it up and trucking it out on semi trucks. So the whole country will now be infected with it. The Green Inferno, I'm pretty sure they all just get torture eaten to death. And there is some gruesome...
Oh, it's a cannibalism kind of theme. Okay.
Yes, there's a vagina sewn shut. There's all kinds of fucking shit that go... Yeah.
How does that help you eat someone?
Oh, well, Eli Roth is a sick man.
Oh, like a turducken, where they put a duck and a turkey and a and then something else in there. They do that with man, that's grotesque.
Yeah. It's awful. It's awful. It's fucked. They made 2 more Cabin Fever movies. The first one was enough. It was enough.
People need to stop going to that corner of the woods.
Yeah, I don't like the other one is fuck, what's it called? It's the one where there's mutants out in the like
Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes. That's fucked.
Hills Have Eyes 2, the beginning scene, I think it was a rape scene in the beginning. Like I think I might have turned that off right in the beginning of it. You know, I watched it like right when it came out, and I think like I just stopped it because it just came off as creepy. Because they weren't even just like, you know, some suave guy who's rich, like Hostel, some of those guys where it's like, oh my God, I would never notice that guy in public. He just looks like a normal businessman. Like they were like that fucking Ephialtes from 300 where they're just all, you know, shitty. And they've got like Ephialtes' body, and then Clint, whatever the fuck the guy we were talking about earlier, his eyes and head, you know, Clint Howard. Yeah, like his head on Ephialtes' body from 300, and they're just like horribly raping and torturing him. Oh, terrible.
Are you caught up on, is it Terror? The Terror? The show we've been watching?
I haven't watched the most recent episode of The Terror. The last episode of The Terror I saw was when, it was the last? It was the 8th episode. I haven't seen the 9th episode.
Yeah. I guess
it's bleak. Bleak is the best word to describe that fucking show. It is bleak. It is well made, well acted, interesting, but bleak.
Yeah. Bleak is perfect. I thought I was caught up. Now that you mention it, there was a show last night, so I didn't see that. But I'm enjoying it again. There was a moment where I felt like it stalled too much. And but I'm back on board now. I guess I'll watch the remaining episode. Then there's the last one. There's only 10, right?
Correct, Mundo.
We're about to see how this thing ends. And
yeah, they're just all gonna die.
Nothing goes their way.
It's not gonna. They're all gonna die. I think that was made clear in the very first episode, like the first minutes of the first episode, when the Eskimo hands him the buttons. They're like, they said not to come, not to follow, or like go away or run or something like that.
It's funny. So you say they made it clear in the very first episode. I'm wired differently in that I don't trust it. Right? They're like, oh, they said to say that they're dead and not to follow them. Oh, well, what made them say that? They said that? That means they're saying things. Like, I don't know that the ending they told us is going to be the ending.
They're all dead. The only thing that might happen is maybe one of them survives and has to cut his tongue out to be like the polar monster's muse or whatever the fuck. Like one of them might meet that end. But and it might be the guy who's kind of sweet on the Eskimo chick. Maybe that gets worked out for him. But everybody else is a goner. Yeah, the half-assed doctor. I've been watching Westworld, and this week's episode of Westworld is one of the best episodes that's ever been made of that fucking show. Last week's episode, one of the worst. Last week's episode was so bad that I didn't watch this week's episode until yesterday or something like that. And then I watched this week's episode, and I was like, I'm fired up again for Westworld. It was fucking excellent. It was William Hurt.
How much is out now?
3 episodes, I believe.
I'm just waiting for this series to get out so I can just watch it all.
Yeah, it's very good.